Chapter 61, Shisui and Itachi go their separate ways, and the gears of fate change. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 61, Shisui and Itachi parted ways, and the gears of fate changed. Shisui, what happened? Why are you like this all of a sudden? Itachi looked at Shisui in disbelief. Shisui, who had been firm before, was convinced by Bai Ye after just one afternoon. He has even taken the initiative to stand on Bai Ye's side. Is your pupil technique from another god, or is his pupil technique from another god? For a moment, Itachi felt like he couldn't tell who had awakened the other gods. It was obviously not like this before. Itachi, what do you think the will of fire is? Shisui asked Itachi for no reason, and when Itachi heard this, he was stunned for a moment, then looked at Shisui in surprise, and replied, wherever the leaves are flying, fire also grows endlessly. He believed that Shisui knew clearly about the will of fire. Why did he ask this? Then Itachi, let me ask you, does it belong to the will of fire to let children go to the battlefield? The will of fire seems to use its own life to protect the next generation. Since when did it start to protect the previous generation of power with the life of children? Shisui's words were like a sharp bayonet that instantly pierced into Itachi's heart. Since when? A trace of reminiscence flashed in Itachi's eyes. It seemed to have started at the end of the Second Ninja War, right? At the beginning, Konoha was full of talents, but not long after the Second Ninja War ended, the Third Ninja War came. Konoha has been besieged by the surrounding ninja villages, and without any real strength. The students of the ninja school also began to graduate early and went to the battlefield. At the end of the period, Itachi also followed Uchiha Fugaku to the battlefield. Itachi, you should have the answer in your heart, right? Another point is that our Uchiha clan is on the front line in every war, but after we come back, we are ostracized by other people in the village, and even the assigned responsibility is not as good as Mito of the logistics, the transfer clan. Do you think the clansmen will think too much about it? In fact, we just stood from other perspectives before. Just like everything we do now is not recognized by the clansmen, there will be other things in our hearts. Idea? Zishweiking comes from blue and is better than blue. Not only did he learn all Bai Ye's previous theories, he even converted them into his own language. After parting ways with Bai Ye, the more he thought about it, the more something was wrong. Why did he feel that he had been deceived just like Bai Ye said before? It was obviously because of the persecution from Konoha that the Uchiha clan became increasingly dissatisfied with Konoha, not because the Uchiha clan wanted to rebel at first, but Konoha in turn targeted the Uchiha clan. The cause and effect relationship was reversed. After reorganizing it, Shisui discovered that the Uchiha clan had actually been compromising in trying to integrate into Konoha, but Konoha didn't seem to accept them at all. But Shisui, have you forgotten that Hokage-sama always said that he was trying to relax? If you follow Bai Ye now, wouldn't all our previous efforts be in vain? Itachi still refused to give up. Deep down in his heart, he always believed that Naruto could do it, and he had been trying his best. It's just because the Uchiha clan does have a problem, that's why it seems to have been stagnant, and it's even getting more and more tense and bad, but no matter what, we can't fall to the radicals at this time. Itachi, Lord Hokage keeps talking, but never does it. Why doesn't he do it? It's because he doesn't want to do it. He keeps telling us that he is solving it, but after turning around, he lets Danzo target us. It's the Hokage, can't he control Danzo? It's obvious that he is unwilling at all and just wants to take advantage of us. After breaking out of that strange circle, Shisui's IQ reached a high point again and he quickly reacted. Sarutobi Hiruzen had been making promises to them back then. Anyway, it was just a promise, but it was never fulfilled. You said that you want to improve the tense relationship between the Uchiha clan and Konoha, but he has never agreed to the Uchiha clan's demands. He will not even communicate with the major factions within the Uchiha clan and the clan leaders at the time. He will only let them go. Gather information, and then comfort them that you are already working hard, but is this useful? The clan is becoming more and more depressed, and the relationship with the village is getting more and more tense. It is not even as good as Bai Ye. Even though there is tension with the village now, at least the clan is no longer depressed. The happy expressions of the clan members are always overflowing. Today in the afternoon, he saw that many people who had always treated him with a straight face would smile kindly at him when they passed by. Isn't this change? Conservatives, centrists, and radicals. In the past, these three factions held a small meeting every 3 days and a large meeting every 7 days. The only thing that could not be resolved was quarrels, but recently there has been a strange balance. Why? Because Byakuya is really changing Uchiha, really benefiting Uchiha, everyone has benefited, and all the past grudges have been turned into ashes at this moment, with such a capable clan leader who can analyze the current situation of Konoha and Uchiha more thoroughly and clearly than them, and who can better understand who is responsible for it. Following Byakuya like this is not better than following Sarutobi before. Are Hiruzen and the others good? They never gave him any real benefits. On the contrary, Bai Ye at least allowed him to live in a much better place than before. Just the land under his feet. If he had bought it before, he didn't know how many tasks he had to do to buy it. Moreover, it was really unreasonable to buy the clan land that used to belong to him, but Bai Ye spent a very small price on it. He just paid some money to the Ino Luka Dai and the Hyuga clan, so he took it came back. Isn't this enough? Shisui, don't you know the disparity in combat power between Uchiha and Konoha? It is true that Byakuya has gained some benefits now, but it has deepened the rift between us and Konoha, and will only make the relationship worse in the future. I'm getting more and more nervous. Once we take action, our whole family will be led into the abyss by Bai Ye. You don't want to change Bai Ye's mind at this time, but you are still following him. Itachi didn't understand why Shisui, who was still very rational in the morning, was not rational now. Can't we think from the Hokage's perspective? One clan, always one clan, and now even Shisui has been immersed in this clan. He was also a little disappointed in his heart. Although Bai Ye's remarks shocked him at first, it did not shake his firm determination. After all, he knew how big the power gap between the two sides was. It was clear that Shisui, whom he had always admired and always thought had the ability to think independently and was different from other Uchiha people, seemed to be becoming more and more unfamiliar to him. But do you know? Chief Byakuya told me that Konoha's purpose is to make us resist, but the current situation is actually boiling frogs in warm water. Haven't you noticed that we have been working hard, and others have also? I'm working hard, but the relationship between us is still getting more and more tense. Why? Because I'm trying in the wrong direction, and Itachi, just believe me, I'll be able to solve it this time. Shisui stretched out his left hand and placed it in front of Itachi, wanting Itachi to stand with them. At least it was much better than following Sarutobi Hiruzen. That guy has been painting cakes for them and has never solved any problems, and at that time, Byakuya heard that Danzo's arms were all filled with the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. However, Shisui is not ready to tell Itachi for the time being, because he actually doesn't know very well whether this matter is true, so he plans to tell Itachi the news after subsequent confirmation. I believe that after knowing the truth, he will also. I will no longer insist on siding with Konoha. Looking at Shisui's left hand, Itachi's expression kept changing. It seemed that he couldn't continue to be the same as before. Shisui, are we really going to do this? Do we really have to give up what we did together before? Giving up now means that everything we have done before has been in vain. Itachi decided to continue fighting. He wanted to persuade the other party. I've made my choice. Shisui nodded. He will not change again, even if he dies for this matter this time, he will not change again. In that case, I'm sorry, Shisui, but I can't continue with you, but I won't tell Mr. Hokage for the time being. I hope you think about it again. As he said that, Itachi looked at Jisue with a complicated expression. Obviously, he still couldn't accept Jisue's invitation. Even if he is the only one walking this path, he will stick to it because he doesn't want to see the entire Uchiha clan perish. Konoha will never be his opponent in a fight, and Shisui, his best friend, and his teacher seem to have been blinded by Byakuya. It doesn't matter, Itachi, you should think about it carefully. In fact, if you think about it carefully, you will know whether what I said is right or not. Jisue waved his hand. Although he was a little disappointed that Itachi couldn't accept his remarks for the time being, he didn't care too much. Just like himself, wasn't it possible for him to accept Bai Ye's words at first? But now he has figured it out, and he believes Itachi can figure this out in the future. Then Shisui will leave it like this for today. Itachi lowered his head, a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. He originally had a lot to say to Shisui today, but looking at it now, it seems that it is not necessary. He just feels that this feeling of going against the grain seems a little uncomfortable. I understand, then go back and rest early, Itachi. With that said, Shisui patted Itachi on the shoulder and left. Itachi stayed there for a while and looked at the moon, then sighed and left as well. After both of them left, a whirlpool appeared on the spot, and half of a nepenthes on the ground slowly emerged. It seems like what we guessed before, Uchiha and Konoha will definitely go to war. Originally, when Uchiha Fugaku was still on stage, they had thought that Konoha might not be able to bear it after a while. Don't forget, there is a Danzo here, and Bai Ye's coming to power seems to have made the relationship between the two parties even more tense during this period of time. It seems that taking action in advance is expected. Speaking of which, that guy's methods are really powerful. He actually instigated Shisui's rebellion. Fei scratched his hair and felt that something was not going well. What exactly does Uchiha Byakuya want to do? Shisui's eye technique Koto Amatsukami was accidentally monitored by Zetsu. Since then, Obito has been very cautious when coming to Konoha. After all, if he is controlled by Shisui's Koto Amatsukami, he will be finished. That guy does have some tricks. After all, he can make the other party spit out all the land that was originally taken away. Black Zetsu said lightly. Since Bai Ye became the leader of the clan, he has also paid attention to it, but he didn't pay too much attention. In Black Zetsu's view, there is actually no need for him to pay attention to these guys, he only needs to pay attention to two people, Indra, and the reincarnation of Ashura. As for the others, they are not even chess pieces. Then should we do something? White Zetsu feels that this is a very good time to join in the fun. Should we do something? Uchiha clan. For this clan, Obito has a complicated feeling. He was born here, but he didn't have a very good life since he was a child, because he was the last one. Even if the Uchiha clan is not the first, it will not be the last one, but he is. Therefore, Obito was not very happy in the clan, and Obito was also very clear about the potential of the Mangekyō. He was once the last one in the group, but after awakening the Mangekyō, it took only a short time for him to have the possibility of fighting with Minato Namikaze. Although he was defeated in the end, he was also very clear and also very afraid that the Uchiha clan would show some other ice skills to disrupt his plan. I think the Uchiha clan will eliminate some people, but they must also leave some behind. Black Zetsu's eyes flashed. He wanted to kill some of the Uchiha clan and leave Indra. If Madara's plan failed later, he would use this generation of Indra. Of course, in Black Zetsu's opinion, Madara would never fail. Because this time was the closest time for him, and all the plans were designed according to his own. Well, before taking action, let's contact the candidates we need later. After all, it is not convenient for me to come here, not to mention that I have to manage the Mist Village, and the Mist Village is about to reach the last step. Inconvenience is just an excuse. The main thing is Shisui's ability. He is actually a little afraid. Of course, it was also because the Mist Village was about to withdraw and prepare for action, so they naturally didn't want to distract themselves by fighting on two fronts, so they would first contact the right person here. In this regard, Ju had no opinion. As long as it didn't affect the Moon Eye plan, it was up to Obito. After the two finished talking, they left here quickly. In the Uchiha clan, Bai Ye listened to the prompt sound in his ear and smiled. Ding. Change Shisui's fate and reward a chance to draw a lottery. Chapter 62. Is this thing also a reward? Prepare to attack Uchiha. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 62. Is this thing also a reward? Get ready to take action against Uchiha. Has Shisui's fate been changed? Picking up the tea cup, Byakuya took a sip of tea, and after thinking for a moment, he probably understood that Shisui was also leaning towards him. Since he chose to favor himself, it means that Shisui will never tell Sarutobi Hiruzen and others about his pupil skills, and even if they find out, he will never go alone when Danzo calls him. So, this time I got a chance to draw a lottery. Use. Bai Ye thought silently in his heart, and then countless options began to appear on the turntable in front of him. Ding. The lottery is completed, congratulations on winning, the bloodline of the Whirlpool clan, the Uzumaki clan. Bai Ye stood up suddenly. He felt that the chakra in his body began to surge. He no longer knew how much chakra he had. The immortal human body has a lot of chakra, and it also has the ability to quickly restore chakra. The Uzumaki clan is also a family that inherited the immortal human body. Naturally, the two merged together. Bai Ye felt that he was basically equal to the filth at this time. In the reincarnated state, Uchiha Itachi can use whatever ninjutsu he wants at will, and there is no need to worry about insufficient chakra, and with the blood inheritance limit of the Whirlpool clan, he can still learn the sealing technique of the Whirlpool clan in the future, but unfortunately it is most likely in the Book of Seals now. Speaking of which, Uzumaki Mito may not write it in the Book of Sealings, but Uzumaki Kushina probably will, because the Uzumaki clan has been exterminated. At that time, and her husband is the fourth Hokage, so she is very likely to record the sealing technique. Now, Byakuya is more confident about the current situation. The Uzumaki clan's blood inheritance limit and the immortal body provide him with endurance, and the kaleidoscope can open Susanoo infinitely. It's just a pity. If there is an eternal eye, he can with the full body activated, and also with would escape, he wouldn't worry about being beaten by a group. Susanoo is indeed strong, but if he is not in the complete form, he still has weaknesses. This guy Shisui not only gave himself an extra fighting power, but also gave him the blood of the Uzumaki clan. Later, he will add a would escape, and he will green the village. However, there is a high probability that the secret technique of Mudun is also in the Book of Sealings. Unfortunately, if I can get the Book of Sealings now and see the ninjutsu in it, I should first learn the sealing techniques of the Uzumaki clan. In fact, when it comes to the most powerful ability in the Naruto world, it is the sealing technique. Even Kaguya can be sealed, Amaterasu can also be sealed in the early stage, the Ninetales can also be sealed, and even people can exchange their lives for one. It is said that this thing is like a bug. Judging from this, the destruction of the Uzumaki clan seems to be inextricably related to their sealing technique. On the other end, after parting ways with Shisui, Itachi did not directly choose to return to the Uchiha clan, but went to the Hokage's office. Itachi, what's the matter with coming here so late? Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his head and looked at Itachi with a gentle expression. Then he seemed to have thought of something and continued to ask, didn't Shisui come with you? Both of them were Anbu, and he knew very well that Shisui had no mission today. Logically speaking, the two of them had been acting together. Why was Itachi Uchiha the only one here today? No, Shisui had something to do, so he didn't come over. Itachi hesitated for a while, and finally moved the corner of his mouth, but decided not to tell Hiruzen Sarutobi that Shisui had fallen towards Byakuya. He still had a glimmer of hope in his heart. Maybe Shisui was only temporary, and he could persuade him to come back later, but if he told the third Hokage about this matter, then Shisui would definitely not be trusted again. That's it. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't think much and continued to ask in a gentle tone, then Itachi, why are you here so late? Did something happen in the Uchiha clan? During this time, due to the move, the Uchiha clan didn't make much noise. He was actually hesitating whether to end it like this. It seemed that apart from their family's losses, at least the relationship between the village and Uchiha seemed to have eased a bit, but within the Sarutobi clan, there are actually quite some opinions on him. Just because they originally occupied the central position, they suddenly moved away, which made no one happy. The same is true for other families like Shimura and Mito. They had not received such good treatment at first, and they were worried that Uchiha would protest at first, but after such a long time, Uchiha had no objection, and they accepted it all with peace of mind. It is easy to go from frugality to luxury, but it is difficult to go from luxury to frugality. Now that they are suddenly asked to vomit it out, it is impossible for them not to have any complaints in their hearts. In addition, Danzo, Mito Manabu, and Koharu, who had transferred to the dormitory, were also urging him to take action. The third generation, who was originally prepared to settle the matter, suddenly became a little entangled again. He did not want to completely wipe out the Uchiha clan by his own hands, because this would put Konoha into a weak state. Once other things happened and the fourth ninja war started, he would become the leader of the village. Sinner, however, Mito Kadoin and Kaden Koharu, who were originally neutral factions, seemed to be on the same side with Danzo because of this incident. Now all three of them are asking him to take action. In addition to some recent voices within his own family and his desire to weaken Uchiha, Sarutobi Hiruzen is actually starting to get ready to take action against Uchiha. Everything is as before, but I feel they will take action soon. Itachi also discovered during this period that as Byakuya came to power, more people in the clan were inclined to take action. At the same time, because of Byakuya's previous actions, Uchiha benefited, and many neutral factions were shaken. Because they still have another idea, and that is to become Hokage. There has never been a Hokage in the Uchiha clan. Don't they, the Uchiha clan, deserve to be Hokage? With this idea in mind, everyone in the clan began to get ready to take action. If you can win once, then you can win a second time, right? This is the idea that many Uchiha people have today, but in Itachi's view, with their narrow vision, how could they become Hokage? They couldn't become Hokage. They had no overall perspective at all and only thought about one clan and one clan. Is the Uchiha clan going to take action? Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened and he looked at Itachi in disbelief. He was obviously surprised by Itachi's statement. He originally thought that after getting the benefits, the Uchiha clan would stop, but judging from Itachi's description, this was not the case at all. Do the Uchiha clan still want to push further? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but feel a trace of murderous intention in his heart. If it is true, as Itachi Uchiha said, that the Uchiha clan is ready to take action against Konoha, then it is still possible to eliminate Uchiha with Konoha's ability, although they will also need to pay a high price. In fact, it was also because of the last victory that the radicals originally stood with Bai Ye, and many centrists turned to Bai Ye. Even the conservatives did not say much about Bai Ye's actions after getting the benefits. Now the factions all seem to have vague plans to continue following Bai Ye. Because Bai Ye actually brought them benefits, the various factions naturally chose to follow Bai Ye. This was also part of the basis for Itachi's belief that the Uchiha clan might take action. The biggest reason was that Byakuya's thoughts were too dangerous. He discovered this after his first contact with Byakuya. The fact that all the factions have recently turned to Bai Ye actually shows that Bai Ye will probably start his own actions next. So according to what you mean Itachi, Byakuya is preparing to go to war with Konoha. What a dangerous guy. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little distressed. If it were Fugaku, he felt that he didn't need Itachi to reciprocate his thoughts. He could guess them clearly, but since Byakuya became the leader of the Uchiha clan, even Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't understand those decisions. Now he is preparing to lead Uchiha and Konoha to war. Is this guy crazy? Not yet, but if all the tribesmen turn to him, they probably will. Well, Itachi, please always pay attention to the situation of the Uchiha clan. I will stabilize the situation for the time being. The problem between the village and the Uchiha will be resolved sooner or later. Sarutobi Hiruzen scratched his forehead in distress, and then waved his hand to tell Itachi to go back first and think about it. According to the news brought by Itachi, Sarutobi Hiruzen also knew very well at this moment that if the entire clan fell to Byakuya, their plans for the Uchiha clan's actions might suffer great losses, but he had to fight with the other party. After Itachi left, Danzo slowly walked out, then looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and said calmly, I have said long ago that the Uchiha clan is a scourge, and we should eliminate them as soon as possible. It was easier to take action when they were still hesitating before, but now if we continue to wait for them to all fall to Bai Ye, we will only suffer greater losses. He had listened to the entire conversation just now. He believed that it was still possible to deal with the Uchiha clan, and that Konoha would not be unable to deal with even a single ninja clan. However, at the beginning, he could obviously do it at a very small cost, but in the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen had to drag it on. If this continues, the price to be paid will be greater. Danzo, do you know what this means? Once we attack Uchiha, first of all we need a reason. Secondly, if we kill the Uchiha clan, we will also consume Konoha's strength. And if the Uchiha clan is gone, then Konoha will be at our weakest point, and we will not be able to bear it when other ninja villages take advantage of it. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen was already inclined to kill the Uchiha clan in his heart, but the current situation is that he wants to kill the other party. But he has no reason and does not want to bear the consequences of the failure of the Fourth Ninja War, so Sarutobi Hiruzen decided not to take action yet. I can find reasons, and I can even let them do it themselves. There is also no need to worry about the Fourth Ninja War. There has been some friction between Kumogaku and Iwa Ninja recently. The two sides are engaged in a small-scale war, and they have no intention at all. Fight us, the Mist Ninja are still under the Blood Mist policy. Although I don't know the internal situation, I can estimate that it is a mess. Even if it is not, based on the situation that they have not come out these years, they will not take action in this operation again. They themselves have lost much more blood-stained families than we have. The current strength of the Mist Ninjas is not enough, and the 7 ninja swordsmen are not of the same mind. Their blood mist policy has caused the ninjas in the village to have no way to trust their teammates. The Sand Shinobi's Wind Shadow has a gap with their hero Yitsang, so they can be led to start internal strife or other things, so that the Sand Shinobi will have no time to take care of us, and they have not recovered from the Third Ninja World War. So if you want to take action, now is the best time. Once other ninja villages react, we will no longer have any chance. Danzo's eyes are still gloomy, but his face is very calm, as if he is also telling a very ordinary thing. The reason why he dared to choose to take action at this time is purely because he had already thought about it. Is it possible that in Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart, he is the kind of person who will harm the interests of Konoha? Your roots are really pervasive. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo deeply. He knew the situation in other villages very well. He didn't expect that after so many years, Danzo's roots had penetrated to this extent. Over the years, he was unable to control Konoha, so he handed over some of the power to Danzo. I didn't expect that Danzo seemed to have some power of his own. You can get this information as long as you ask someone to inquire inside. Don't we have spies from other villages in our village? After all, those merchants come to various villages to trade. Who can guarantee that these merchants are not spies, or will not take this information back intentionally or unintentionally? Danzo naturally understood what Sarutobi Hiruzen was afraid of, but he was not afraid at all. Who wouldn't train a few spies? Didn't Sarutobi Hiruzen have some too? After all, those villages are now similar to Konoha. Either it's an internal problem or an external reason. In short, everyone is busy with something. Even if you take action at this time, everyone can maintain tacit understanding and handle their own affairs. On the contrary, when these things are completely over, the Cloud Village and the Rock Ninja temporarily stop fighting to deal with Konoha together, and the internal problems of the Sand Village are solved, then what awaits them is that they cannot fight with Uchiha, and even have to compromise with Uchiha Byakuya. Thinking of the last time he was defeated by Byakuya, Danzo felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He had been mixed up for a lifetime, but he was actually calculated by a junior. But fortunately, he took action in time, which made the people in the village hate Uchiha even more. This is the power of public opinion. So, Sarutobi, what is your choice now? Chapter 63. I want to make you, a filial son, be deserted by everyone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 63. I just want you, a filial son, to betray your relatives and leave your family. No, I will never allow infighting within the village. Sarutobi, you will regret it. Danzo stood up and left, smiling coldly in his heart. He couldn't help but secretly thought that Sarutobi Hiruzen was hypocritical. Wasn't this sentence just a hint to himself to let him do it? But it doesn't matter, as long as the Uchiha can be destroyed, that will be enough. then let's find Uchiha Itachi first. Danzo also thought about it in his heart, and let the Uchiha have internal strife. If Uchiha Itachi and others can kill all the Uchiha clan members, then naturally there will be no need for him to take action. If not, the roots and Anbu will be killed at that time. You can take action against the Uchiha clan. In short, the Uchiha clan is not worthy of possessing the Sharingan. After he destroys the Uchiha clan, he will have a massive amount of Sharingan, and will be able to use Izanagi more by then. Oni-chan, you're back. At midnight, Sasuke dozed off and looked at Itachi, who pushed in the door. The drowsiness on his face suddenly woke up. He was going to rest early today, but because he had something good he wanted to share with Itachi, he waited until now. The moment he saw Sasuke, a trace of kindness flashed across Itachi's tired face. He raised his hand and touched Sasuke's hair, and then reminded him gently, "It's already very late, Sasuke, why don't you sleep?" Sasuke used to have to rest at this time. Is there anything waiting for him today? Is it because I haven't seen myself for a long time? Itachi laughed in his heart, thinking about it. He had been doing tasks and working on improving the issues between the village and Uchiha recently, so it seems that I don't have much time to spend with Sasuke, and even the training I promised Sasuke before has been postponed for a long time. Oni-chan, I have some good news for you. What? Looking at Sasuke's eager eyes, Itachi smiled, and then looked at Sasuke expectantly, waiting for Sasuke's good news. I met the leader of the Bai tribe in the clan this afternoon after school. The leader of the Bai tribe said that he would teach me how to practice tomorrow, Sasuke said, his tone full of excitement. When he came back today, he had actually told Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Mikoto about this matter. Although Fugaku was ousted by Byakuya, he still admired Byakuya's courage. When he knew that Byakuya was going to teach Sasuke, he had no intention of refusing in his heart, and even wanted to thank Byakuya. Byakuya is known as a genius ninja in the clan. He had the strength of an elite jounin when he was the same age as Itachi. Now he is also a strong 3 Magatama. It is simple to teach Sasuke. What's more, he is still the head of the clan, and even though he has many things to do every day, he can still find time to teach Sasuke. It is impossible for Fugaku not to thank him, and in fact, Fugaku felt a little indebted to Sasuke in his heart. He had given all his efforts and put everything on Itachi. He didn't seem to care that much about this younger son who was not as talented as Itachi. Unlike Fugaku, Uchiha Itachi's expression changed immediately after hearing what Sasuke said. He thought of many possibilities. Could it be that Byakuya wanted to use Sasuke to blackmail him? What's wrong with Oni-chan? Sasuke had been looking at Itachi when he just finished speaking, and he could clearly feel that Itachi's expression had changed slightly. He didn't know why. It's okay. Itachi shook his head and calmed himself down. He knew that there were many possibilities, and his current guess may not be accurate in the end. How about I send you there tomorrow? Itachi decided to go and test it out tomorrow, not to mention that there was still Shisui's matter here. He also wanted to see how Bai Ye made Shisui choose to switch sides. Okay, Sasuke didn't know why, but he was relieved to see that his brother not only didn't object, but even sent him there. Then Sasuke, you should go and rest early. Oni-chan, you have to remember the agreement between us. Don't worry, it will happen. After coaxing Sasuke back to his room, Itachi sighed, hesitated again and again, and finally came to the door of Fugaku's room. Father, Mother, are you asleep? Itachi? Well, I have something I want to ask my father about. Itachi originally didn't want to find Fugaku, but he couldn't help but care about Sasuke. Itachi, tell me. In the room, Fugaku looked at the ceiling, probably knowing why Itachi was looking for him. This child. Do you still insist on going your own way? Father, you should know that Sasuke is going to train with the clan leader, right? Well, this is good for Sasuke. Byakuya is very strong. At least he is more suitable for teaching Sasuke than the teacher at the ninja school. The ninjas in your own family are definitely better taught than the ninjas in the ninja school. Our own people know our own people. But his thoughts are dangerous. That's right, he didn't object to others teaching Sasuke. In fact, if it hadn't been Byakuya, he wouldn't have asked any more questions. just like what Fugaku said, the ninja teachings in the clan are much better than other ninja teachers. However, Bai Ye's thoughts were too dangerous. He was afraid that Bai Ye would transmit some of his thoughts to Sasuke, and he was also afraid that Bai Ye was going to use Sasuke to blackmail him into something. Itachi, do you know why the people in the clan are getting closer to Bai Ye? Fugaku sighed. For a moment, he regretted Itachi's thoughts. He shouldn't have let Itachi take this path in the first place. Because he took back his original clan land, but it also deepened the hatred between us and Konoha. Of course Itachi knew, but this matter was not without consequences. Now that the relationship between Konoha and Uchiha was even more tense, Byakuya needed to be responsible. Itachi, what the clan wants is actually very simple, that is, respect and getting back what belongs to us. That's all. The Uchiha clan doesn't want to fight with anyone. When I was the clan leader, I didn't win any of these. On the contrary, it was as he got along with Konoha that he became more and more cowardly and suffered more and more losses, which aroused dissatisfaction within the clan. And now what you are saying is actually very clear to everyone. Rather than being consumed to death like this, everyone actually wants to fight to the death, so Bai Ye becomes the clan leader. He represents the current thoughts of the clan. If it weren't for Byakuya, he would actually still be the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, because the neutral faction has always been the neutral faction, and neither the radicals nor the conservatives can do anything to anyone. Therefore, this strange balance was maintained, but the appearance of Bai Ye broke this balance. At least that time the neutralists were a little shaken, so Byakuya came to power with a slight advantage. But not only the Uchiha clan, but also Konoha will suffer losses. Once a war starts, it will mean that both sides will suffer, and it will also give other ninja villages an opportunity to take advantage of. If the village is gone, where will the family still be? A place for survival? Shouldn't we consider the village? Itachi was puzzled that his father, who had always been dovish in the past, seemed to be speaking for Byakuya now. He suddenly felt a sense of betrayal and alienation. Itachi, you have to remember that you belong to the Uchiha clan first. In addition, you can let him go as to Sasuke's affairs. Byakuya will not harm Sasuke. It's getting late, so you should rest early. Uchiha Fugaku's tone could not hide his disappointment. Although he had never wanted to start a war, with Uchiha Fugaku, he first recognized himself as a member of the Uchiha clan. As for Itachi's so-called thinking from the side of the village, shouldn't he think from the side of the clan? I understand, father, then I won't disturb you. Uchiha Itachi took a deep breath and lowered his head. No one knew what he was thinking, and he left here in a moment. In the room, Uchiha Mikoto looked at Uchiha Fugaku with some worry and asked, does that child Itachi want him to quit the ANBU? I always feel that something is wrong with his mind now, and if Byakuya takes Kazuki with him. Yi Kaijan, Itachi's words. In fact, in the current situation, most people in the clan believe that Byakuya may lead Uchiha and Konoha to war, at least not peacefully this time. The Uchiha clan would not give in, or Konoha would give in, which would inevitably make all the other ninja clan except the Uchiha clan stare. Now, if Konoha gives in, then the other ninja clan will be more flexible. Therefore, this game not only involves Uchiha and Konoha, but also other ninja clans are also waiting. In fact, there is no need to start a war, but there is too much tension between the village and the Uchiha. Sometimes I don't know exactly what Byakuya wants to do. Uchiha Fugaku sighed. In fact, even he didn't know what Byakuya wanted to do. You said let's go to war, but you didn't seem to give a signal to the radicals. You said let's not go to war, which made the relationship with Konoha so tense. As for the child Itachi, I guess he won't listen to us. He has his own ideas. We can only wait and see when the time comes. He wanted to persuade him, but what could he do? Will Uchiha Itachi listen to him? Fugaku felt that he didn't know how to do it at all, so he simply gave up and patted Mikoto on the shoulder. Go to rest early. I'm not the clan leader anymore anyway. It's Byakuya who should have a headache. After no longer being the clan leader, Fugaku's mentality improved a lot. The next day, Sasuke approached Itachi early because today was the first time he was being coached by Byakuya, and Sasuke wanted to go there early to give Byakuya a good impression. The two of them arrived at Bai Ye very early. "Would you like a drink?" "Chief, what is this?" Sasuke stepped forward curiously and took a look. This was the first time he had seen this thing. "Coke, it's delicious. I'm going to sell this and start Konoha's soda business. Itachi, you should try it too. Coke came from the everyday world anyway, it's cheaper to buy from there, and there's no such soda here, so Bai Ye plans to bring it over and sell it. There is rice cake and adzuki bean soup in Konoha, and there are also things similar to soda drinks, but compared to Coke, Byakuya feels that the taste is not as good. Apart from weapons and detonating talismans, the Uchiha clan's industries don't have many side businesses, unlike the Akimichi who have barbecues or the Nara clan who have medicinal materials. During the war, the Uchiha clan was very rich, but in this peaceful era, the Uchiha clan's business was not very good, so in order to improve the family's economy, he also planned to start a side business. What's more, this is also the first step of Bai Ye's preparation. Economic warfare, what you eat, drink, and use are all provided by the Uchiha clan, and you fall out with them. Then don't think about such things anymore. In the final analysis, it is a matter of interests. Uchiha does not have much interest entanglement with other families, but if both parties have interest entanglements, naturally they will also have to consider Uchiha's attitude on many things. Why are Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others so popular in Konoha? Is it because he has too many interests? Hiruzen Sarutobi has been in power for too long, so many families need to cooperate with Hiruzen Sarutobi and the families behind him. From this point of view, those who support Hiruzen Sarutobi naturally that's a lot more delicious. Sasuke felt the breath rush straight to his forehead when he took the first sip, and the coke that was specially chilled by Bai Ye gave him a chilling feeling. It's indeed delicious. Is the clan leader going to sell this? Although his actions are very radical, in every aspect, Bai Ye is indeed surprisingly suitable to be the leader of the clan, Itachi muttered in his heart. After all this, he felt that Bai Ye was more suitable to be the leader of the clan than his father. Yes, business within the clan is not easy. Everyone is waiting to eat. Ninjas are okay, but ordinary Uchiha clan members really need some opportunities to survive. Although the Uchiha clan may seem like a big family, in fact not everyone lives a wealthy life, and there are also people who live in poverty. But what you are doing now, patriarch, is completely different from what you said. Itachi lowered his eyes. He was a little surprised in his heart that Byakuya wanted to change the living conditions of the lower-class Uchiha, but what he said was to give some living conditions. If he continued like this, everyone would die in the end. Sasuke, if you were given the choice to live on your knees or die standing, which one would you choose? Byakuya did not answer Itachi's words, but turned to look at Sasuke. Die standing, Sasuke blurted out without thinking that the honor of their Uchiha clan would never allow him to live on his knees. Look, this is everyone's choice Itachi. After Byakuya got Sasuke's answer, he turned his head and looked at Itachi again, and Sasuke also looked back and forth between Bai Ye and Itachi strangely, feeling that there was something in their words. Okay, you probably still have a mission. Go and complete it first. Sasuke will leave it to me. Looking at Itachi's speechless words, he would have almost laughed wildly if there wasn't someone beside him. This is being misunderstood by everyone, and even his own brother thinks that he has done something wrong. Bai Ye wants to let the filial son feel this feeling of betrayal and separation. The better days are yet to come. Bai Ye has prepared more than that. Chapter 64 Mrs. Mikoto, you don't want Sasuke to be targeted in his training, right? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 64, Mrs. Mikoto, you don't want Sasuke to be targeted in his training, right? Clan leader, I feel like the conversation between you and Oniai-chan is weird. Although Sasuke was still young, he could see that there seemed to be some things between Bai Ye and his brother that he was not clear about. It's nothing, it's just that the understanding of some things is different. Bai Ye smiled and didn't say anything at this time. Then, he no longer struggled with this issue, stood up, pointed to the location of the Uchiha training ground, and asked, let me see, Sasuke, how strong are you now? Sasuke at this period should be able to master the powerful fireball technique, and other than that, there are some compulsory courses in the ninja school. Okay, Patriarch, Sasuke said, with a sense of excitement in his tone. He actually fell asleep very late yesterday. At that time, Sasuke was imagining that if he had Byakuya's guidance, he might be able to graduate early. Mr. Patriarch, have you heard that you, like Oniai-chan, graduated from ninja school early? Sasuke knew that Bai Ye was a genius no less than his brother, so he was very looking forward to today's training. Well, he graduated early. It seems like Sasuke wants to leave the ninja school early, that it can be heard from Sasuke's expression and his unabashed tone that Sasuke really wants to graduate early. Speaking of which, it is not an easy thing to graduate early in this era, and this is not a war period. Of course, I don't want to play house with them in the ninja school. Sasuke always believed that he could not learn anything in the ninja school and could only waste his time there. Likewise, he also wants to prove to his father and brother that he is not bad either. After graduation, he will be considered a real ninja, and others will no longer treat him as a child. Graduating early requires a team. Otherwise, you can only form a team alone. I guess your father will not agree. After all, graduating early actually depends on timing. First of all, it's a war period, and secondly, it also depends on whether there is a team to form with you. Otherwise, should one jounin lead a ninja? The Jonin probably wouldn't even think about it. As for letting Sasuke go on a mission, Uchiha Fugaku would probably not agree to this either. Then if I graduate early, can't I take on the task and complete it myself? Sasuke really didn't think about this. He just thought that he would graduate early and then take on tasks by himself. This way he could accumulate experience, which was much better than wasting time in the ninja school. Of course you can. In fact, the so-called jounin leading a genin does not necessarily mean that you have to do this. If you want to graduate early and do your own missions, you can do it. It's just that all the missions you take in the early stage are to deal with weeds. The reason why a jounin will take you on the mission to find pets is because you will have some missions out of the village later. If you do this kind of mission for the first time, you will inevitably have some surprises, but a jounin can ensure safety. In fact, if you just do D-level tasks in the village, it's not impossible. The key is looking at Sasuke. He probably doesn't want to do those tasks. Then how can I graduate early? For the graduation exam, you only need to complete the exam, but it is actually relatively simple for you. In fact, it stands to reason that if the Uchiha clan had not been wiped out, Sasuke would have graduated early based on his talent and character. However, because Uchiha was destroyed later, Sasuke was forced to spend several years in the ninja school. Moreover, there is actually no one in Konoha who can teach Sasuke. Kakashi counts as half, but Kakashi himself knows nothing about the secrets of the Uchiha clan. The Sharingan was also used very crudely in the early stage, so it is naturally impossible to teach him. What about Sasuke? In fact, the place where Sasuke really grew up was on Orochimaru's side. Konoha is too gentle here. If Sasuke grew up normally, it would be nothing, but Sasuke has always been burdened with hatred, and Konoha's move is actually more about smoothing out Sasuke's edges and allowing Sasuke to give birth to several Uchiha in the village. The previous Uchiha disobedient all died, but Uchiha's blood stains are very useful. It is impossible for the third generation not to want more Uchiha. Then Patriarch, please train me according to graduation standards. Sasuke looked at Bai Ye solemnly. Although Bai Ye had just analyzed the pros and cons, Sasuke still thought that he wanted to graduate early, and practicing with Bai Ye doesn't mean he wants to be a fool, he really wants to become stronger. Okay, if you are suitable, I will talk to the school to arrange your graduation exam. It seems like it would be nice to have Sasuke graduate early. It completely changed Sasuke's fate, and it seemed like a lottery opportunity. Then please leave it to the clan leader. Although he felt a little embarrassed that Byakuya had been taking care of him like this, Sasuke's desire to graduate was obviously more urgent. It doesn't matter, Sasuke comes to see your strength. After Bai Ye finished speaking, he signaled to Sasuke that he could start. Then I'm welcome. Sasuke didn't use kunai, and was going to use taijutsu to fight Byakuya. The same moves were often used in battles in ninja schools. This punch seemed to be full of flaws. It seems that the ninja school doesn't teach any skills at all. It's really just playing house, because it was a wartime. Bai Ye would teach some fighting skills, but in this peaceful era, it seems that even the teachings of the ninja school are more peaceful. Got it. Raising his hand, Bai Ye directly controlled Sasuke's left hand, and then a kunai was placed across Sasuke's neck. It was so cold and sharp that Sasuke swallowed his saliva subconsciously. If it was an enemy just now, he would have died. Too immature Sasuke, there is no need to test it anymore, let's go practice directly. After saying that, Bai Ye looked at Sasuke's lost face, patted Sasuke on the shoulder, and comforted him, you are still young, and the future belongs to you young people. But I was defeated so easily by you, the clan leader. Isn't it normal, Bai Ye complained in his heart, just a student who just went to the ninja school, if he can't solve it quickly, then he doesn't have to be the Uchiha clan leader anymore. Sasuke's only concern was that he was the head of the ninja school, and he was doing well in the school. He had never lost to anyone. Although he had just thought that he would definitely lose to Bai Ye, he did not expect that he would be defeated by Bai Ye before he even had the chance to use his ninjutsu and the three-body technique. I heard that Bai Ye had awakened the three Magatama. If he had used the Sharingan just now, he would not even have the chance to fight. So you should know all of Sasuke's three-body technique, right? In fact, it is relatively easy to graduate in this era. As long as the teacher thinks you can graduate, it's okay. If you have learned the simple three-body technique and passed the cultural courses, it basically depends on whether the teacher will pass you. Since Sasuke has mastered the great fireball technique, there is no reason why he can't use the three-body technique. He is not Naruto, and the Nine Tails is interfering with his chakra. I know it, clan leader. Are you going to teach me more powerful ninjutsu? Sasuke's eyes flashed with hope. He wanted to learn ninjutsu from Bai Ye. Bai Ye must know many powerful ninjutsu. When he learns it, he must make Itachi look at him with new eyes. Before learning ninjutsu, you should lay a solid foundation, just like a house. If the foundation is not stable, it is only a matter of time before it collapses. Before that, start with climbing trees. In fact, if Uchiha was not destroyed in the anime, Sasuke would have learned climbing trees and treading water in the family long ago, instead of Kakashi teaching him. The reason why family ninjas are ahead of civilian ninjas is not only because of blood, but more because of resources. It is difficult for civilian ninjas to stand out without resources. Jiraiya is because he is a disciple of the third generation, and Namake's Minato is naturally talented, plus his teacher is Jiraiya, but how many talented civilian ninjas like Namake's Minato are there in this world? In the final analysis, without blood and resources, you can't go far. Master, are you sure you want to climb a tree? Yes, attach chakra to your feet, and then walk up like me. This can improve your control of chakra and avoid waste later, and it is also the basis for some subsequent abilities. After listening to Bai Ye's words, Sasuke did not doubt him. After seeing Bai Ye walking up the tree just now, he was also eager to try. Climbing trees and treading water are the most basic, although there is not much teaching. Bai Ye will not be as irresponsible as Kakashi. After telling Sasuke this, he said nothing. When Sasuke made a mistake, Bai Ye would remind Sasuke where he made the mistake before. Master, I think I can do it. Sasuke stood on the top of the tree and waved to Bai Ye below. I have to say that Sasuke at this time is really cute. He was still lively before experiencing the night of extermination, but this guy is not pretending to be cool in front of him. Bai Ye remembered the first meeting very clearly, and he could still pretend to be cool and aloof. Not bad, then the next step is treading water, which is much more difficult on flowing water than on a tree. Sure enough, Kakashi's education is really irresponsible. Now someone reminds him that Sasuke's speed is obviously much faster than before, and Sasuke now is definitely weaker than Sasuke at that time, and this can be fast. In fact, it also shows that Kakashi really didn't teach the three people attentively at the beginning. In one day, Sasuke quickly mastered climbing trees and treading water. He is worthy of being the reincarnation of Indra. It's just a pity that Sasuke didn't give himself a chance to draw a lottery. I still need the chakra of Indra and Ashura. Once I get these two, I basically don't need the eternal eye to get the samsara eye. The samsara eye does not require the eternal eye, but requires the sage body and sage eye, as well as the chakra of Indra and Ashura, but there is still a lot of time. At worst, if I can't draw it in the lottery later, I still have a chance to get it. After a day of training, Sasuke returned home and told Fugaku and Mikoto about the results of today's training. Fugaku was also a little surprised when he learned that Sasuke could complete treading water and climbing trees in one day. I didn't expect Bai Ye to teach Sasuke to complete climbing trees and treading water so quickly. Although this is not very difficult, it is great that Sasuke can complete it so quickly at his age. I didn't expect Sasuke to be a genius. Uchiha Mikoto covered her mouth and smiled. She didn't care about these things at all, just because he was Sasuke, her own child. After hearing her praise, Sasuke's face turned red and his heart beat faster. He was obviously excited. It's really amazing. Fugaku echoed, his eyes moved to Sasuke, and he looked at him seriously and asked, Sasuke, do you want to worship Bai Ye as your teacher? He didn't just think about it and said this, but after careful consideration. First of all, this is actually his attitude, which shows that he has no hostility towards Bai Ye. Secondly, Bai Ye had proposed to let Sasuke graduate early. Although he could take Sasuke to perform tasks, he still thought that if it was Bai Ye, it would definitely be much better than himself. Judging from today's teaching, Bai Ye is obviously better than his own teaching, and he has already failed to teach one son. Fugaku dare not continue to teach Sasuke. He is afraid that Sasuke will take a path he doesn't want to see because of his teaching. Judging from Bai Ye's attitude, it is obvious that he appreciates Sasuke very much. If Sasuke is willing to become his disciple, it will be good news for both parties. Become a disciple? When Sasuke heard his father say this, he was shocked and at the same time he was a little entangled. He practiced with Bai Ye this afternoon. Although he only taught some basics, it also made Sasuke realize that a good teacher can definitely make him improve. After treading water and climbing trees, Sasuke found that the consumption was much less than before when he used the Great Fireball technique, and the control was better. This is much better than the teaching of those teachers in the ninja school. That's right, Sasuke, in fact, you really don't need to stay in the ninja school now. I don't think there is anyone in the village who is more suitable to be your teacher than Bai Ye. In fact, he thinks Itachi can also, but Itachi's focus is not here at all now. Father, I am willing, but the clan leader has so many things every day. Do you really have time to teach me? Sasuke was a little embarrassed. He had no opinion, but thought he was taking advantage, but Bai Ye, as the clan leader, had a lot of things every day. Does he really have time to teach himself? Will he be too troublesome? Yes, Fugaku, given the current situation in the clan, does Bai Ye really have time to teach? Although Mikoto felt that Fugaku's suggestion was good, she also thought that Bai Ye seemed to have no time at all. The relationship between the clan and the village has become more tense than ever before, and she is also worried about the relationship between Bai Ye and Sasuke. The wife is always worried about the relationship between her children and teachers. Don't worry, I will talk to Bai Ye first. Fugaku was not sure, so he could only give it a try, but if Bai Ye knew it, he would probably smile crookedly. As a teacher, it is normal for him to impart some of his own ideas, right? Chapter 65 Fugaku, Bai Ye, you will regret this. Bai Ye, Fugaku, I am the clan leader. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 65, Fugaku, Bai Ye, you will regret it. Bai Ye, Fugaku, I am the clan leader. So, former clan leader Fugaku, you want Sasuke to worship me as your master. The next day, Fugaku found Bai Ye and told him the news that Sasuke wanted to worship him. Fugaku had already agreed with Sasuke yesterday. That's right, but can you call me by my name, and don't add former clan leader at the end? Fugaku was confused. Did you want to remind me that I had stepped down? Okay, former clan leader, that I really want to kill this guy. Although Uchiha Fugaku has seen people who are more despicable than him, this is the first time he has seen one in the Uchiha clan. This inevitably made Fugaku feel a little sad. Is it really a good choice to let Sasuke follow him? But that I have already told Bai Ye about this matter, and it seems that there is no room for regret. If Sasuke wants to become your disciple, I will accept it. It can be regarded as my compensation to you. It is not my intention to drive you off the stage, but some of your policies are really intolerable to me. Bai Ye did not have much opinion on Uchiha Fugaku, but he could not tolerate his indecision. At the beginning, he had thought before the chat group was opened that if there was no golden finger, he would run away before the night of the extermination of the clan, but the golden finger came, so Bai Ye thought about changing his fate. Speaking of which, he had eaten and used a lot in Uchiha over the years. Under the premise that he could change it, Bai Ye naturally hoped to change the original ending, but Fugaku's behavior was simply disappointing to Bai Ye, so he could only let Fugaku step down, otherwise he would continue to let Uchiha Fugaku in the position of clan leader, with Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Shisui and other pig teammates inside, and the old silver coin Konoha F4 headed by Sarutobi Hiruzen outside. This high-end game is not so big, right? Is my path wrong? At least I don't think I'll be as nervous as I am now. Although I'm not the clan leader now, and I shouldn't be in charge of this matter, I still want to know if you have thought it through, Bai Ye. If you continue to go down this path now, the relationship between Konoha and Uchiha will only get worse and worse. I guess we'll really go to war at that time. Although Uchiha Fugaku has been compromising, he can see clearly that once they go to war with Konoha, they will definitely not win. That's why he compromises again and again. If there really is a way, he won't be like this all the time, being cowardly in the clan and being looked down upon outside. Uchiha, once the largest clan, now dares not even speak loudly in order to survive. This is also the reason why the radicals in the clan have been increasing, and Uchiha Fugaku can only maintain the balance. Bai Ye's previous actions did make many Uchiha clan members, even Uchiha Fugaku, feel proud, but after the incident was over, Uchiha Fugaku began to think, can the consequences of this incident really put the clan into crisis for the sake of pride? Have you ever thought about why the other party keeps pushing forward and why they keep forcing us Uchiha to compromise? Why? In fact, Uchiha Fugaku has his own answer in his heart, but he didn't rush to say it, but wanted to hear what Bai Ye could say. People have bad natures. If you keep showing toughness, it will make people afraid to act rashly. If you can't maintain it, the initial compromise will indeed change the other party's view, but after you compromise, the other party will ask you to compromise for the second time. From the beginning, Uchiha gave up all kinds of their businesses, and later sent many elite ninjas to the Ninja World War to show their courtesy, and then even gave up the land that originally belonged to us. Today we will give up 5 cities. Tomorrow we will give up 10 cities, and then we will have a good night's sleep. When Uchiha has no more interests to give up, how should we compromise? Should we give up our Sharingan as well? Fugaku, think about it, when it was in your hands, Uchiha had thrown away everything that could be thrown away, and we only have Sharingan. If Sharingan can only be used on our own people, it's fine, but Sharingan can be used by others after it is taken out. In Bai Ye's view, Uchiha has nothing to compromise. Every time Fugaku compromises, he gives up the interests of Uchiha, and it was because of these that they were able to gain a little peace, but they no longer have it, and even the economy of the clan is no longer as good as before. You said that if it was in peacetime, it would be fine if they didn't get respect. There wasn't much money, and there was a guard team in the clan that needed to be supported, and the Uchiha at the bottom had a harder time. It was already like this, and Fugaku was still thinking about compromise. Isn't this putting all the Uchiha clan into the gutter? It shouldn't be that serious. We are all from the same village, and it's impossible to do such a thing. Uchiha Fugaku was shocked. Originally, he just wanted to compromise in exchange for peace. He didn't actually want Uchiha and Konoha to go to war, but according to Bai Ye's statement, his approach seemed to be completely wrong. But he was a little reluctant to believe that Sarutobi Hiruzen dared to do such a thing. After all, everyone is from the same village. If you wiped out the Uchiha clan, how would you let other ninja clans look at you? Who dares to stay in Konoha? Don't be naive, Fugaku, the village is still pressing on you even if you hand over everything. Don't you still know the situation we are facing? Fugaku's innocence made Bai Ye feel a little ridiculous. we have already reached this point, why are we still so stubborn? The three most powerful Uchihas were actually more stubborn than the other, not to mention that the three pairs of kaleidoscopes in the original work could defeat Konoha. They could at least take part of the Uchiha evacuation and leave Konoha, but it turned out that the three pairs of kaleidoscopes were all surrenderers. Listening to Byakuya's words, Uchiha Fugaku's eyes flashed with confusion, and he even felt a sense of recognition in his heart. Yes, that it seemed that he had let out everything he could, but in the end it still didn't work. Byakuya, but you have to understand that if you do this now, you will still lead Uchiha into the abyss, and it will be faster. Uchiha Fugaku knew that even if he did this, he might end up doing what Byakuya said. However, the consequence of Byakuya's actions was that he would lead Uchiha into the abyss faster than himself. He has no idea how strong Konoha is. Fugaku, I am the clan leader. Bai Ye said calmly, no matter what Fugaku thinks, he is the clan leader now, and Fugaku is not. Listening to Byakuya's words, Uchiha Fugaku opened his mouth, not even knowing how to refute. It seemed that what Bai Ye said made sense. No matter what he did, it was the clan leader's decision, and he was no longer qualified to care about it. Byakuya, the Uchiha clan relies on force, not words. Uchiha Fugaku was still prepared to fight hard and become the leader of the Uchiha clan. At the beginning, he did not just rely on his words like Byakuya. If the kaleidoscope had been shown during the clan meeting at that time, Bai Ye would not have become the clan leader. After saying that, 3 Magatama appeared in Uchiha's pupils and then kept spinning into a kaleidoscope. He had to stop Byakuya from continuing to pull Uchiha into the abyss, but for the next second, Fugaku stood frozen on the spot, and the 3 Magatama in Byakuya's pupils also changed their pattern. Kaleidoscope. He has one too. Fugaku, you are right. Uchiha relies on force rather than words. If you want to fight, I can fight with you. Although Bai Ye's tone was still calm, Fugaku felt a hint of attractive aura. He can't beat Bai Ye. Bai Ye is stronger than himself. How can it be? Fugaku didn't dare to think about it. It turned out that Bai Ye also had a kaleidoscope a long time ago, and was even more powerful than himself. You actually have a kaleidoscope. A trace of bitterness flashed across the corner of Fugaku's mouth. His kaleidoscope was awakened after he saw his closest friend and comrade-in-arms die in front of his eyes. Even now, no one knows about this matter. Originally, he wanted to rely on him today. The kaleidoscope shocked Byakuya and told him not to continue leading Uchiha astray, but I didn't expect that what I have, Bai Ye also has, and even what I don't have, Bai Ye may also have. Fugaku, now is not the time for the Uchiha civil war. What we have to face is not the entire Konoha, but the people of the Uchiha clan. In fact, it is not just us Uchiha who are dissatisfied with them, there are actually many people. If you are dissatisfied with him, why do you think that all of us Uchiha are enemies in Konoha? In Konoha, many people have long been dissatisfied with Sarutobi Hiruzen, but they just never said anything. Otherwise, the Konoha collapse plan would have made it impossible to watch Sarutobi Hiruzen die. It's not the sealing formation deployed by the 4 Hokage later. How could it not be broken through? Because the guard has some other things, we Uchiha have long been notorious in Konoha. A wry smile flashed across Uchiha Fugaku's face. Uchiha was not easy to get along with because of his personality, and he offended many people because of his work. He also had conflicts with many families because of their interests. Why do you think anyone would help them? Fugaku, you are wrong. Interests can not only be fought for, but also created. Besides, there are many people who are dissatisfied with those guys. The only ones we have to deal with are those 4 people and their gang members. If you want to change, Fugaku, just talk to come with me. Now Shisui has chosen to believe in me. I need your power, Fugaku. With that said, Byakuya stretched out his left hand and placed it in front of Uchiha Fugaku, waiting for his next words. If he could get another pair of kaleidoscopes, Byakuya would have a better chance of winning, and he could make all the Itachis rebel against each other, which wouldn't be good. Even Shisui. A trace of surprise flashed in Fugaku's eyes. He lowered his head in thought. Fugaku experienced a long struggle in his heart. Then he raised his head and looked at Byakuya. He gritted his teeth and said, "You can really ensure that the Uchiha clan survives and is at odds with the entire Konoha clan. Start a war, that what he is afraid of is that Uchiha will be exterminated, and he is also afraid of Konoha's collapse. When the time comes, other ninja villages will definitely take advantage of the situation, and Uchiha has offended many people in the previous wars, and people from other villages will definitely not let it go." Uchihas. Certainly. Then I agree. Saying that, Fugaku raised his hand and shook Bai Ye's left hand, expressing his willingness to trust Bai Ye for once, but Bai Ye didn't get the hint to change his destiny. It seemed that he didn't completely believe in himself yet. Do you want to see the results of what he did? Sure enough, this guy Fugaku seems to be harder to fool than Shisui. But it doesn't matter, Shisui was like this the first time, but it will be fine the second time. He is not in a hurry. Since Fugaku is like this, I have something to give you. Take a look at these things. What is this? I plan to create some side businesses for the Uchiha clan to make money. You also know that the economic situation in the clan is not very good now. This is cola and milk tea. After chocolate, there are some snacks and food. I will slowly get them. Then this is perfume and lipstick specially sold to women, and this diamond is also sold to women. Fugaku can understand the first three, but the last three that he picked them up and looked at them for a long time, and felt that they were a bit tasteless. Bai Ye, perfume and lipstick are already sold. It seems that we can't sell them out. And what is this diamond? Are you stupid? Of course I know these things. We are not selling products, but concepts and stories. We are selling them to the high end and then tying them to love. If you don't give me lipstick, it means you don't love me. Perfume is for men to smell. If men don't buy it for you, it means they don't value you. Then we can make up a few sad love stories for the diamond and completely tie the diamond to love. Besides, don't our Uchiha clan have some friendship with the Fire Country? Give some to those nobles and let them use them. Then we will promote them by saying that the nobles love to use our products. We are playing with concepts, don't you know? Bai Ye said helplessly, holding his forehead. He felt that it was a wrong choice to give this matter to Uchiha Fugaku. By the way, your wife should be at home, right? Let Mikoto do it. Bai Ye suddenly felt that it would be better to let Uchiha Mikoto do it. If he let Uchiha Fugaku, a rough guy, do it, he might ruin his preparations. Well, I'll go back and ask, but you have to tell me how to do it first. Uchiha Fugaku had no objection, he really didn't know how to do it, and then the two discussed it for 2 hours. The conclusion was that Bai Ye took 50%, and then part of the 50% was used to pay the guards, and part was used to improve the situation in the clan, and then all the things that were cut off because of insufficient money were brought back. In Bai Ye's opinion, these things were not worth much, and he even made more money. Taking out some of the money would help win people's hearts. He wanted to build his own tower village. Ahem, the Uchiha clan. Chapter 66 We Uchiha will be Hokage. Who agrees? Who opposes? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 66, We Uchiha will be Hokage. Who agrees? Who objects? Speaking of which, it seems that our Hyuga clan is not as good as your Uchiha clan, right? In the Hyuga clan's tea room, Hyuga Hizu glanced at Byakuya with some distress, secretly thinking that Byakuya was simply shameless. Byakuya wanted to see him today. Originally, he wanted to let someone send Byakuya away on the grounds that he didn't have time. After all, this was not the right time to be so close to the Uchiha clan, but Bai Ye was so shameless that he directly proposed to live in Hinata and wait for him during the next period of time. Then Hinata and Hinata would have nothing to do. What does this have to do with each other? We have a common enemy now. This is between you and Konoha. We are not enemies. Hinata and Hinata were very clear about Byakuya's intention of recruiting them into his group, but he refused. Although he had complaints about Sarutobi Hiruzen, he would not let the Hyuga clan follow the Uchiha clan in rebellion. Hinata needs a stable Konoha, not a chaotic Konoha. so what if he defeats Sarutobi Hiruzen? What about other ninja villages? Speaking of which, your recent small businesses are doing very well. Hyuga Hisashi was actually shocked by Uchiha's recent operations. First, they took back the clan land that originally belonged to them, and then promoted the snacks, perfume, lipstick, etc. These were given to the nobles as gifts, and they even found the popular star Fenghua Koyuki to endorse them. As this reputation grew, Uchiha Express also successfully became famous in the industry. With the money earned, it was used by the Uchiha Chamber of Commerce hire ninjas from neutral ninja villages, ninjas from your own village, or civilians in the name of ninja in two modes, Ninja Express Delivery and Ordinary Express Delivery. In the name of delivering goods to every customer as quickly as possible, accepting various reservations. This business behavior is simply a dimensionality reduction blow, directly revitalizing all Uchiha industries. Because of the support of nobles from all over the world, the Chamber of Commerce, even if several ninja villages were unwilling, but couldn't stand it, Uchiha would entrust this courier task to their own villages, which would be regarded as part of the reward. In addition, these were only some consumer goods, so several even the ninja village turned a blind eye. After all, they also wanted to do business with Konoha. You can't completely give up on Konoha and the Fire Country's market just because of this incident, right? Indeed, I also think business has been doing pretty well recently. You are really not polite at all. Hinata Hizu couldn't help but complain in his heart after hearing Bai Ye's answer, but he also had a deeper understanding of Bai Ye. After all, Bai Ye actually told Fugaku the plan, and then Fugaku told Mikoto about it. Bai Ye didn't expect that the other party could get it all done so quickly. In less than a month, Uchiha Snacks, Uchiha Luxury Goods and Uchiha Express became popular in an instant. Some Uchiha clan members who were idle at home were assigned to work here. It even recruited many civilians in the village to work, which also made Uchiha, who originally did not have a good reputation in the village, seem to have a slight turnaround. For ordinary people, he will naturally side with whoever can give him a mouthful of food. Within the clan, even if Bai Ye is not rich, he can still receive clan subsidies every month. This is to give them the profits from those businesses. And the support for Bai Ye has reached its peak. From taking back his clan land to making Uchiha rich again, it took Byakuya a few months to do it all after he came to power. The beauty in the forest will be destroyed by the wind, so haven't you Uchiha been targeted recently? Uchiha is rich, so naturally Konoha F4 is unhappy, and this time the person who comes to power is not a fool like Uchiha Fugaku. He will win the hearts of the people. From the police force to the present, Konoha F4 found that the manipulation of public opinion that they had always been good at seemed to have lost its effect here. However, Uchiha has been targeted again recently. Mainly because these gadgets can be copied, so the Mitamon family, the Tenden family, the Shimura family, and the Sarutobi family all entered this industry to get a share of the pie. Seeing the Uchiha make money was even more uncomfortable than them losing money. However, due to preconceived notions and the fact that they occupy a good location, the Uchiha clan's business here is still the best, but it is inevitably affected. Head of the Hizu clan, I'm not here to talk to you about this. I just want to ask you a question. Do you want to be Sarutobi Hiruzen's dog for the rest of your life or avenge your dead brother? That if Naruto had not become the Hokage later and Sarutobi Hiruzen would have died at that time, maybe it really needs to be liquidated. Moreover, in the beginning, wasn't Hinata Hisashi's incident considered a warning to Konoha? That is to say, the Hyuga clan has been holding it in for who knows how many years. It is known as the #1 family in Konoha after the Uchiha was destroyed, but in the village, there is a tendency to behave with one's tail between its legs. What do you mean? Hinata grabbed the corner of the table excitedly. Bai Ye brought up this matter last time, but he didn't say it so directly. But now Bai Ye said it without any hesitation, and what he felt in his heart was the anger could not be suppressed for a moment. I want to overthrow the rule of Sarutobi and Hiruzen. Now that the Uchiha clan has basically been unified, Konoha is pressing us step by step, and there is no need to continue to give in. Hizu, you also know that under Sarutobi these years how chaotic is Konoha in the hands of Hiruzen, Danzo and others. This farce is almost over, right? Bai Ye said lightly. He was ready for all kinds of resistance. Now, in fact, as long as other families don't take action to watch the show, then he can almost take action directly, but there is only one excuse. There is no need for us to take such a risk. Hinata Hizu was actually a little moved, but felt that there was no need to take such a risk. No, we are actually taking the risk for you. What can we get? If you succeed, we seem to get nothing. If you fail, we will also have to bear the consequences of failure. Hinata and Hinashi are not as determined as before, he was weighing the pros and cons. If they succeeded, it would be revenge for Hinata Hizashi. At the same time, he has actually been dissatisfied with Sarutobi Hiruzen's rule for a long time, but the other party now has very strong control over Konoha, so even if he is dissatisfied in his heart, he still can't do anything, but this is not just a problem for himself, but for the entire Hyuga clan. If he wants to do this, he must convince the elders of the clan, so the Hyuga clan cannot help in vain, right? Aren't the interests of those 4 families not enough? Bai Ye said lightly, as long as those 4 people fall, why don't the 4 families who were not particularly powerful in the first place spit out those benefits? Why did they get these benefits? Don't they have some compulsion in their hearts? You Uchiha clan don't want anything at all. Hinata Hinashi didn't believe Byakuya wanted anything. Head of the Hizu clan, this time I fully support me as the Kage of Konoha. If you, the Hyuga clan, want to become Hokage in the next time, you will also have a chance. Naruto is not their game. Since everyone is from Konoha, why? They can do it, but we can't. Byakuya didn't want to become Hokage at first, but he just thought that if he became Hokage, it would change the plot and naturally there would be a chance to win a lottery. At the same time, he also knew that the current Uchiha situation required the emergence of a Hokage, which was Uchiha's lifelong pursuit. You want to become Hokage? Hinata and Hinata's eyes widened, looking at Byakuya in disbelief, obviously not expecting that Byakuya had more than what he wanted. At the same time, he was also calculating the gains and losses. Why didn't Hinata want to create a Hokage? It's just that Hinata and Hinata know very well that Naruto has always been of the same blood. The first Hokage was Senju Hashirama, one of the founders of Konoha, the second Hokage was the younger brother of Senju Hashirama, the third Hokage was the disciple of the second Hokage, and the fourth Hokage was the disciple of the third Hokage. In fact, Naruto has always been inherited in this line. Although the Hyuga family has thought about it, they prefer a peaceful environment than Naruto, so they don't have so many ideas, but the Uchiha clan is different. As one of the founders of Konoha, the Uchiha clan had nothing to say even if the Hokage was made by the 2 Senju brothers. However, the third generation turned out to be the Sarutobi clan. During the Warring States period, that was a family that was beaten by Uchiha and had to evacuate its original clan. How could they be willing to do so? Moreover, the Hokage was chosen by everyone, but this third generation was the mouthpiece of the second generation. By the fourth generation, although the Uchiha were still a little dissatisfied, the fourth generation promised to improve the relationship between the village and the Uchiha, and did so. Naturally, everyone did not think so much about it, but after the death of the fourth generation after the third generation came back to power, everything changed. That's right, there is no so-called Hokage at all, or everyone can be a Hokage. They are already old, and we are still young. The village should not always be in the hands of a group of old people, controlling power. Now the village has long been against them. I'm dissatisfied, and I'm afraid the Rizu clan leader doesn't know that Danzo is studying the blood stains in the village, right? Danzo is interested in studying the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan, but suffers from the fact that the Byakugan of the clan is really difficult to deal with, but it's impossible to say that he doesn't covet it. There are secret arts and blood stains in the village, and Danzo wants to get them all. What's the meaning? His arms are all filled with the Sharingan of our Uchiha clan, and the arms are made from the body cells of the first Hokage. Isn't it strange why he keeps wearing bandages on his arms and eyes? In fact, he always has. We're studying it. We've even taken out the body of the first Hokage for study. Do you think Sarutobi Hiruzen knows about this? Isn't it possible that Konoha doesn't know this? How can it be? Hinata and Hinata's eyes widened, obviously having difficulty accepting what Byakuya said. This was simply too shocking. Unexpectedly, Danzo had already started studying this. If it was true as Bai Ye said, he instantly felt the hair on his body stand on end, and a shuddering thought flashed through his heart. Danzo studied other bloodstains and even transplanted the bloodstains of the first generation in Uchiha, so it was impossible not to want the bloodstains of the Hyuga clan. How could Riza be calm when being stared at by a poisonous snake from behind? How can I trust you? Hinata Hizu forced himself to calm down a little. He felt that he could not choose to believe Bai Ye so easily. This is all Bai Ye's one-sided statement. If it is just to make you cooperate, it is not impossible that it is deliberately fabricated. It's very simple. I recently accepted an apprentice, Uchiha Sasuke, the youngest son of Fugaku. He will graduate early the day after tomorrow. Danzo will come to the exam site at that time. You can just use the Byakugan to watch it. Bai Ye said slowly. In fact, this is not just Sasuke's graduation. Instead, he invited Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo to discuss the affairs of Uchiha and Konoha in detail as the head of the Uchiha clan. Recently, Sarutobi Hiruzen and others also hope to stabilize Bai Ye. In addition, Bai Ye's previous words seemed to have a compromise, so the two agreed to it. The reason why Bai Ye invited Danzo was to let Hyuga Hayashi see it. Danzo will not appear in public now, and he is afraid of the Byakugan. Okay, if what you said is true, our Hyuga clan will cooperate with you, so how do you want to cooperate? That this has already coveted the blood of other families, and the Hyuga clan will never watch it, damn it. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid that my own blood will not be preserved. Hyuga Hayashi doesn't believe that Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know anything about what Danzo did. I will tell you after the plan. If there are other ninjas who need help, you will need to help stop them. As for the others, you don't need to deal with them. We Uchiha can deal with those people, Bai Ye said lightly. He didn't want Uchiha to increase casualties. On the one hand, pulling Hyuga in was to prevent Hyuga from taking action later, and on the other hand, to let Hyuga help block some ninjas. Okay, as long as what you said is true, then we Hyuga can stop it, so the interests of the four families you mentioned and the follow-up. If our Hyuga clan wants to become Hokage, you Uchiha must support us to be the sixth generation. Hyuga Hayashi quickly sorted out his conditions. If it is the same as Bai Ye said, their Hyuga clan will take action, and there will be basically few ninjas who will help at that time, because Danzo has touched the bottom line of the ninja clan, secret techniques and bloodstains. No ninja clan can accept it. Similarly, he agreed to Bai Ye to become the fifth generation, and they will fully support Bai Ye for the fifth generation, but in exchange, if the sixth generation of their Hyuga clan has a suitable candidate, then Uchiha must also support it. Okay, happy cooperation. Bai Ye stretched out his hand and placed it in front of Hyuga Hayashi, and a trace of joy flashed in his heart. Sure enough, as long as Danzo was found to be studying bloodstains and even transplanted the bloodstains of the first generation in Uchiha, Hyuga Hayashi would definitely not sit still. In the end, who can be sure whether the next research target will be them? Moreover, the most important thing is that only the main family can take action, and Hyuga Hayashi does not want to become their target again. He even suspected that there was a shadow of Konoha behind that incident. Thinking of this, Hyuga Hayashi's chilling feeling became more and more serious. Konoha seems to have become so terrifying under their rule. Chapter 67 The Eternal Eye opens up its dual divine powers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 67 The Eternal Eye activates the dual divine power. Money. A lot of small money. Mr. Bai Ye's turnover in the past few days has come out, and it has increased by 120% compared to before. Within the Uchiha clan, after confirming the cooperation with the Hyuga clan, Byakuya hurried back, where he also had a series of exchanges with Izumi Uchiha, who was an accountant. Itachi's childhood sweetheart, she didn't like fighting very much, so she chose to manage the recently established Uchiha Chamber of Commerce, and she was also specially recruited by Bai Ye. Since she wanted the Itachis to betray their relatives and pursue excitement, she naturally had to carry it out to the end, but during this period, she unexpectedly discovered her money-obsessed nature. Now our Uchiha finances are indeed much better than before. Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Byakuya's way of getting through the nobles of the 5 major countries really helped Uchiha's products to be dumped. After all, today's ninja village still has to listen to those nobles, and it is just a simple business behavior. The Uchiha Chamber of Commerce will hand over the express delivery tasks belonging to that area to that ninja village, which can be regarded as making money for the ninja village. And you have to pay taxes. In the end, these things are more novel. As a woman, Uchiha Mikoto has not used cosmetics or perfume for a long time. Bai Ye labeled these things as luxury goods, and after using them, she found that they were really useful. She has been using them occasionally recently, not to mention those young women. Bai Ye's sales concept is really great. As long as the Chamber of Commerce operates normally, Sasuke's graduation exam the day after tomorrow has been arranged. In addition, what I told you before has been completed. Bai Ye nodded. He actually didn't care much about business issues, in itself. This is just to win over Uchiha's hearts. He doesn't care about money at all. Strength is the most important thing. If you have money but no strength, you will only be harvested by others. After all, the bigger Uchiha becomes, the more Konoha F4 wants to take away all the benefits from Uchiha. You actually finished it so quickly. Uchiha Fugaku looked at Byakuya with wide eyes and some disbelief. He knew what Byakuya meant by these words. Byakuya had told him before that this time he was going to cooperate with Hinata. At first, Uchiha Fugaku was really not optimistic about it at all. After all, how could he not know what kind of character the Hyuga clan is? But Bai Ye was actually able to persuade the other party. Yes, it's done. It looks like you will really succeed. Uchiha Fugaku murmured, feeling a little more admiration for Byakuya in his heart. If even the Hyuga clan could do it, then he might really be able to complete this matter. Although Konoha's vitality will still be severely damaged in the end, it will at least ensure the survival of the Uchiha clan. By the way, what you said before is correct. I had someone dig it up and see that it is indeed gone. I didn't expect them to be so crazy. Uchiha Fugaku whispered in Byakuya's ear. He had investigated before. Just like Byakuya said, the 3 Magatama Sharingan in the corpses in Uchiha's grave had been dug out. That guy Danzo actually engaged in tomb robbing. But what Uchiha Fugaku didn't know was that even though the place was heavily guarded, it was still taken away in the end. From this moment, Uchiha Fugaku also completely strengthened his heart. Since Byakuya can convince the Hyuga clan and Danzo is also stealing the blood of their Uchiha clan, what else is there to say? Blood stains are very important to a family. When it came to Kakashi, they originally wanted Kakashi to return the Sharingan, but later due to the exchange of interests between the 3rd generation and Fugaku, they compromised for the sake of the relationship between the two parties. Similarly, when Fugaku did not choose to resist on the night of the genocide, he knew that he would not be able to resist at this time, and Itachi would not do it alone. But the current situation is different. Fugaku does not need to make a choice. There is already a better choice in front of him. Ding. Change the fate of Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Fugaku chooses to follow and resist together, and will be rewarded with a lottery opportunity. Coming. Uchiha Fugaku took the bait. It also comes with a chance to draw a lottery. Sure enough, in the Uchiha clan, there is a chance to change a person's fate. This is a big lottery pool. Use it silently in your mind. Ding. The host successfully opened the lottery. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, can fill a pair of kaleidoscope abilities by itself. This Eternal Eye. Isn't the immortal body plus Eternal Eye plus the Whirlpool clan almost equal to Madara from the Valley of the End? Even Madara in the Valley of the End doesn't have the bloodstains of the Uzumaki clan and the immortal body, but unfortunately he doesn't have the 9 tails either, and this can also fill in a pair of abilities. Naruto Byakuya, brother, I got the Eternal Kaleidoscope. If you want to open the complete Susanna in the future, just open the Susanata Buddha and wait. He is now 100% able to win this battle. If he couldn't defeat the Eternal Eye, he might as well find a piece of tofu and commit suicide. Pirate Byakuya, fuck. Is the dream of opening a Gundam in the Valley of Gods enough? Cool. Although the kaleidoscope can also be opened, how can this low-end version of Gundam compare to the high-end version of Gundam? Daily Bay, isn't the most important thing that we should be concerned about being able to fill a pair of eyes by ourselves? In fact, this is not a multiple-choice question, who else wouldn't choose? Yokai Byakuya, Kamui, although the other gods are very buggy, I feel that Kamui is even more buggy than the other gods. After all, it is a space ability, and it can commit the following. Kakashi can kill even Obito's account. Kagaya's arm, I don't believe that other gods can control people who are much more powerful than me. It sounds bluffing to say that other gods are powerful, but if they are really much stronger, they probably won't be used, so this ability is actually a bit useless, but Kamui is different. Kamui can fight and run. This spatial ability was only used by Kakashi at the end. I can't imagine how many Obitos were online throughout the whole process. Bug, I feel sorry for this choice if I don't choose Shinwei, Naruto Byakuya, of course I choose the dual Kamui, I'm not a fool. Naruto World, among the self-selected options, Sasuke, Madara, Itachi, Shisui, Shin and others all had their kaleidoscope abilities, among which Obito's Kamui was chosen. Byakuya's kaleidoscope gradually began to change, and his original kaleidoscope merged with Obito's kaleidoscope to form a new kaleidoscope. At the same time, the endless pupil power made Bai Ye understand why only the Eternal Eye can fully open the Susanoo. Without the support of Hitomi, it would be impossible to afford to activate the complete Susanoo. I'll leave it to you here. I'll leave first. Bai Ye couldn't wait to prepare to experiment with divine power. He was actually curious whether this Kamui space was connected to Obito. If so, wouldn't it be embarrassing the next time he went to the Kamui space and saw Obito? The release speed of the power of the eyes is much faster than the original, and the time in the power space is doubled. It seems that this weakness has been made up for. In the anime, Obito discovered this weakness, so he was almost killed by Konan. He was really looking forward to what Obito's expression would be when he saw his divine power. 2 days later, in the ninja school, where school was supposed to be over, many people came today, because after so many years at the ninja school, there are people applying to graduate early. In fact, among the senior students, Hyuga Niji also applied, but was rejected. Niji is here today, and he is dissatisfied in his heart. He doesn't understand why he should be treated differently. Is it because he is from the Hyuga clan, and this time he is applying for the Uchiha clan? Around them, looking at Sasuke who was standing in the center, the girls looked at Sasuke infatuatedly. Sasuke, who applied to graduate early, looked much more handsome to them. In the crowd, Naruto, a man with blonde hair and fox whiskers on his cheeks, glanced at his goddess Sakura, then looked at Sasuke rather unhappily, and said angrily, "What the hell is this stinky guy doing? Huh? He actually applied for graduation early. If he fails, look at how I will laugh at him." That every time he sees Sasuke acting cool in school, he feels uncomfortable all over. Especially after learning that Sasuke applied for early graduation, he is the top guy in school, and the goddess he likes someone else, and that person is the stinky Sasuke who he has always disliked. Now, Sasuke applied to graduate early again, and he was even more unhappy. He always felt that he was one step behind Sasuke. Naruto, I think Sasuke will most likely succeed. Kimichi Choji on the side threw a handful of potato chips into his mouth. Although Naruto was his friend, he still believed that Sasuke would succeed. After all, he had asked Shikamaru when he came here before. Shikamaru was the smartest one here. He said that Sasuke should graduate, so he would graduate. Oh. That stinky guy Shikamaru can't really graduate, can he? Should be. Shikamaru didn't finish his words, but in his opinion, this matter was basically no problem, only that he was a little confused as to why the third generation would agree to this matter. After all, there was no other ninja who could graduate alone at this time, right? Doesn't it mean that a team of 3 people is needed? Are we going to arrange for Sasuke to go to ANBU? But if you go to ANBU, given the current relationship between Uchiha and Konoha, it shouldn't be possible. Shikamaru shook his head and didn't think about this matter. He shouldn't be the one who should be troubled. It was too troublesome. He was most afraid of trouble. I'm going to ask my third-generation grandfather to apply for early graduation. Naruto couldn't bear this, and immediately prepared to go to the third generation to apply for him to graduate early. What a joke. When he thought about Sasuke surpassing him more and more in the future, he felt like there were ants crawling all over him. Farewell Naruto, you don't even know the three-body technique, how can you possibly graduate? Choji bluntly reminded him that Naruto couldn't even do the basics of the three-body technique, and the cultural class was a mess. It would be a shame if he could graduate. Really? I don't believe it, Naruto said, turned around and saw the third generation, Danzo and Byakuya walking slowly from a distance. The moment he saw the third generation, Naruto immediately shouted, Grandpa third generation, I also want to apply for early graduation. Everyone was instantly attracted by Naruto's exclamation, and then everyone looked in the direction of Sarutobi Hiruzen. This little devil. A trace of gloom flashed across Danzo's eyes. He was reluctant to come, but he couldn't resist Sarutobi Hiruzen's request. Later, he thought that he was coming. There was nothing he couldn't come to the ninja school. He just had to be careful. He wanted to be low-key, but Naruto's voice attracted all the attention. After seeing that the Hyuga clan was among them, his heart tightened, but he didn't do much. In the village, the Hyuga clan would not open their Byakugan at will. This was a very impolite thing. Naruto. A smile flashed across Bai Ye's mouth. After listening to Bai Ye's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his head and said with a smile, yes, that child has grown up now. His words also made Sarutobi Hiruzen a little alert. Uchiha and Ninetales, this taboo, Sarutobi Hiruzen will not forget. If Bai Ye once targeted Naruto, in the subsequent conflict between Uchiha and Konoha, I'm afraid Konoha will really be finished. At the same time, there is no one in the village who can become a Jinchuriki. This made Sarutobi Hiruzen secretly keep a watchful eye in his heart. He must guard against Uchiha people approaching Naruto, and even unknown people must be eliminated. It seems that I have to apply for graduation from you, Hokage, too. Don't you want to respond? Bai Ye glanced at Naruto, and then retracted his gaze. He also had an idea in his heart, but there was no need to rush for the time being. Naruto, you are still early. Damn it. Don't look down on people. Naruto said unhappily, and then pointed at Sasuke and asked, why can he? Because he is the chief, and you are the last one. Sarutobi Hiruzen answered with a smile, which instantly made Naruto sullen, the last one is the last one. One day, he must make everyone look at him with new eyes. The man next to Hokage is so handsome. He is more handsome than Sasuke. Originally, Ino, who was arguing with Sakura about Sasuke's belonging, was attracted by the conversation between Naruto, and then saw Bai Ye standing next to the Hokage, so handsome. This kind of handsome guy with his face open seems to be much more handsome than a child. Ino suddenly started to compare Sasuke and Bai Ye in her heart. No matter how handsome Ino Pig is, it has nothing to do with you. Wide forehead, do you want to fight? Women are really troublesome, and handsome guys are also troublesome. Shikamaru, I think handsome guys are great. Choji, you don't understand. The surroundings were noisy and heads were moving. Bai Ye also saw the 12 little strongmen of Konoha in the crowd. There were also many parents here. After all, no one had graduated early for a long time. The last time seemed to be Uchiha's people. In the crowd, Bai Ye and Hinata Hayashi, who was standing next to Hinata, looked at each other, and they were also looking forward to the next chance to draw a lottery. Chapter 68, Angry at 3 Generations, Don't embarrass yourself with these relics from the old time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 68, Angry against 3 Generations, The relics of the old era are exposed and embarrassed. The Uchiha clan is really full of talents. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Sasuke on the arena, with a hint of emotion in his words. For Uchiha, he loves and hates them. He loves them because they are strong. With them here, Konoha has a strong fighting force. He hates them because they are strong. In recent years, no matter where Uchiha is, the school is not only at the forefront but also at the forefront, and he is also the main combat force on the battlefield. At first, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have to worry. Before he came back to power, he thought he was strong enough to suppress Uchiha. At the same time, there were the Konoha Sannin, Danzo, Namake's Minato and other fighting forces. No matter what Uchiha did, he was not afraid, so at that time he never thought about suppressing Uchiha. Later, when he realized that the Uchiha clan could no longer suppress him, and even many families in the village were ready to make a move, Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that he was going to abdicate, and he handed over his position to Namake's Minato, but he didn't expect that the Nine-Tailed Rebellion would directly lead to the death of Minato Namake's, and the fact that Sharingan can control tailed beasts would be remembered again. After Sarutobi Hiruzen came back to power, he also realized that if the Uchiha clan was not controlled, he might really be unable to suppress it in the future, so he began to acquiesce in Danzo's small actions against the Uchiha. Looking at it now, not only has Uchiha not been reduced in strength due to his own targeting, but he still has many geniuses. He is still very strong now, but he is afraid of their youth. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen knew very well that as long as he abdicated and handed over the Hokage to the Uchiha clan at this time, all problems would be solved, but he was still influenced by Senju Tobirama, and at the same time he also had a trace of prejudice against the Uchiha clan in his heart. In addition, Uchiha was not his direct descendant, and it was even more impossible for Sarutobi Hiruzen to hand over his position to Uchiha. Konoha is the cradle of genius, Bai Ye said with a smile. Just when Sarutobi Hiruzen was about to echo, Bai Ye's next words almost made his face tense up. There used to be Konoha White Fang, Konoha Sannin, Namake's Minato, and Hyuga Hisashi. Unfortunately, they either sacrificed for the village, left the village because of some things, or were killed. In fact, these people were not all civilians or other people. Family, that are there many Uchiha geniuses? Many. But there are also many geniuses in Konoha village. Although Jiraiya was the weakest in the ninja school, he actually showed amazing talent after graduation. At least Jiraiya was the only one among the three ninja who knew the sage mode. What the hell? Who are they picking? One of the three ninjas was forced to leave, and two left in disappointment. Konoha White Fang was killed by rumors, Namake's Minato died because of the corpse seal, and Hyuga Hisashi was also the product of their choice to compromise. Co-author, you don't know how to speak human language, do you? The death of the fourth Hokage has nothing to do with your Uchiha clan. Danzo also said something abruptly at this time. He admitted that these things were more or less related to him. However, he had absolutely no involvement in the Nine-Tails Rebellion. Although he wanted the fourth Hokage to die, he never thought about using the Kyuubi. It is still unknown who leaked this situation. Similarly, when the masked man appeared to control the Kyuubi, the Sharingan was actually Danzo's. Everyone knew that even afterward Uchiha Fugaku tried his best to explain. But in fact, no one really buys it, and this is what Danzo has been using to attack Uchiha. The Sharingan is not only available to our Uchiha clan, right Danzo-sama? Byakuya turned his head and glanced at Danzo's arm. All the eyes on this arm were the eyes of the Uchiha clan. After seeing Byakuya's eyes, Danzo was subconsciously startled, and at the same time, he was also thinking in his heart whether Byakuya had discovered something. If his secret was known, he probably wouldn't be able to stay in Konoha anymore. This does not only involve the Uchiha clan, but also the bloodstains of the first generation. Likewise, for other bloodstained families, this kind of thing is taboo. Anyone else besides Kakashi? Danzo said calmly. Who knows? Byakuya's words had already panicked Danzo, and at the same time strengthened his determination to take action immediately. Bai Ye must know something, otherwise it would be impossible to say such things. Maybe because Bai Ye has no way to prove it yet, so he has not exposed it yet. Can't wait to take action. Byakuya glanced at Danzo and muttered silently in his heart. He said this deliberately to make Danzo prepare to take action in advance, but Byakuya is not in a hurry. Danzo's arm is a real weapon. Even if Danzo doesn't take action, he can directly attack Danzo. It's just to maximize profits. When the time comes to take action against Danzo, he will also take action against Sarutobi Hiruzen. Danzo, Stop talking. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo, and then immediately stopped Danzo's thoughts of continuing. They were not here to quarrel. Although Danzo was not angry, he did not continue to say anything, but he also hated Uchiha even more in his heart. Seeing that Danzo had calmed down, Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his head to look at Bai Ye and asked, Patriarch Bai Ye, you said that this time we are going to solve the conflict between the village and Uchiha, so what is your opinion? Whether it is to delay time or to understand Bai Ye's true thoughts, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also very eager to talk to Bai Ye at this time. It's actually very simple. Why doesn't Lord Hokage abdicate and let our Uchiha clan become Hokage? Wouldn't the conflict between the village and Uchiha be resolved in this way? Impossible. How can you Uchiha become Hokage? Before Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke, Danzo couldn't sit still. Hokage was his lifelong pursuit. He originally thought that after the death of the fourth generation, it might be his turn, but the third generation went up. If he could outlast Sarutobi Hiruzen, he might be able to become Hokage. However, if Uchiha Bai Ye became Hokage, he would never be able to become Hokage again in his life. Coupled with the prejudice against the Uchiha clan, Danzo naturally does not allow the Uchiha clan to become Hokage. So Lord Hokage also thinks so. Bai Ye ignored Danzo. The most important thing now is Sarutobi Hiruzen. In fact, he is no longer afraid of these two people. He just needs a reason to take action. He not only wants to solve the current crisis, but also wants to become Hokage, so naturally his reputation must be better. Otherwise, as long as he kills these two people, he can just do it himself. Of course anyone can be Hokage, but since you want to become a Kage, you naturally have to get the approval of the vast majority of people in the village, right? Sarutobi Hiruzen still maintained a kind attitude. Obviously, he did not express too much about Bai Ye's idea of becoming Hokage. He even seemed to support it from his tone, but the meaning of his words was also very clear, that is, it is useless for me to support you, and you need the support of other people in the village. This is also his usual method. In fact, it seems that it was the second generation who said that when you, the third generation, came to power. It's just a pity that some people are just a little bit slower in their lives. After Bai Ye finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo felt sick as if they had eaten a fly. Ignoring the expressions of the two, Bai Ye stood up from his seat and slowly walked to the railing at the edge of the stands. As he walked, he said to himself, whether you support me or not, I will come out. Hokage is not someone's private property. If you don't have the ability, you should abdicate early. I guess there will be people who respect you when you are old. Behind him, even though the two thought they were well educated, they couldn't help but hold the armrests of the chairs tightly after hearing Bai Ye's words. Bai Ye, what exactly did you invite us to come here for? Of course, we are declaring war on you. The relationship between our Uchiha clan and you has come to this point. Do you think I will seek peace with you like Fugaku? In the final analysis, your era is over. You relics of the old era, don't come out and embarrass yourself. Looking at Sasuke on the competition stage, he has defeated the examiner arranged at this moment. The examiner with the strength of a genin was also defeated by Sasuke. This is the result of his training in the past month. After winning, Sasuke's face rarely flashed a trace of excitement, and his eyes immediately looked at the stands. That expression seemed to say, teacher, I didn't embarrass you, did I? The youth's vigor and vitality were fully displayed at this moment, but I just hope that this youth will not be hit by his bullet in the forehead again many years later. Bai Ye nodded to Sasuke and clapped his hands with a smile. Third generation, it seems that we have won. Did we win? Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little dazed, and even at this moment, he finally had a hint of murderous intent towards Bai Ye. He suddenly realized that he had always underestimated Bai Ye. It seems that from the beginning, Bai Ye would not let himself be manipulated like Uchiha Fugaku. And now it seems that there are only two ways to choose. The first is to abdicate directly and hand over the position of Hokage to Uchiha. The second is to fight with Uchiha and completely eliminate Uchiha. It seems that this time the choice is left to them. However, when Sarutobi Hiruzen really faced the choice, he hesitated. Is he really a relic of the old times? Konoha will not be threatened by you Uchiha. If you Uchiha dare to do anything to harm Konoha, other families will not watch it. Danzo shouted angrily, and he couldn't keep calm today. There were no other ninjas around, so he could say it, and Bai Ye could say it too. He could no longer tolerate Bai Ye's arrogance. As expected, the Uchiha clan should be destroyed. Danzo, haven't you damaged the interests of Konoha enough? Bai Ye said, turning around and looking at Danzo, and asked, Danzo, what have you done over the years? I don't need to say who cooperated with Orochimaru, right? I won't say who didn't let us Uchiha go to support and bypassed the order of the Hokage. Now Shimura clan has taken advantage of your position in the village. I won't say how much benefit you have gained in the village. Now you are ashamed to tell me that Uchiha has damaged the interests of Konoha. Who is the borer of Konoha? Bai Ye's words were like a knife, and every word was engraved in Danzo's heart, making him unable to refute, because he just repeated what he had done. Okay. Byakuya, I just want to know now, is this your attitude or the attitude of your Uchiha clan? I think we should have a good talk instead of letting Konoha fall into civil strife. Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted, knowing that the current situation was beyond his control. It seems that the Uchiha clan is really about to go berserk. You really should have listened to Danzo in the first place. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen really regrets it, but he still has a trace of hesitation, because once a war starts with the Uchiha clan, it means that Konoha will really fall into weakness. But he also thinks of what Danzo said before. Now not only it's Konoha. The other villages are also immersed in their own affairs and have no time to care about Konoha. Now is the best time to take action, so should we take action? I have made it very clear to you, third generation. There are only these two choices. This is not only my personal will, but also the will of Uchiha. You have been in office for too long and you should step down now. Konoha's the roots are already rotten, and it will happen sooner or later for this big tree. You can't control it. Byakuya said lightly, if Sarutobi Hiruzen chooses to retire now, he cannot liquidate Sarutobi Hiruzen in the future, but if he persists, then he and Danzo will die together. His Konoha doesn't need these old fogies. Kill the two elders as well. I understand, I will consider it. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, and he did not have an attack at that time. Although he cared a lot in his heart, he also knew that now was not a good time to break up. What's more, he must plan it before making this decision, and this will require calling other people to discuss it carefully. Congratulations, you Uchiha have produced another genius. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood up and said with a smile. It seemed that he didn't take what Byakuya said before into his heart. Bai Ye had to admire this city. Isn't he also a genius in Konoha? That's right, then I won't bother you. There are too many official duties. I won't give it away either. Byakuya nodded and watched Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo leave. His goal had been achieved. When he looked at Hinata Hizu's position, the other party also gave Bai Ye a look of affirmation. Just now, while Danzo and Byakuya were distracted by the argument, Hinata Hizu used his Byakugan to see the abnormal chakra flow rate on Danzo's arms and eyes, but in order to avoid being discovered, he just looked at it briefly and dismissed it. Ability, but he was also able to confirm that Danzo had indeed transplanted the Sharingan, and this also made him completely accept the idea of cooperating with Byakuya to overthrow Sarutobi Hiruzen. Chapter 69, Sarutobi Hiruzen's Killing Intent, on the Eve of the Genocide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 69, Sarutobi Hiruzen's Killing Intention, on the Eve of the Night of Extermination. Clan Leader Bai Ye, I'm leaving first. The previous matters have been decided. After the promotion exam, Hyuga Hayashi said hello to Bai Ye, and then left with Hyuga Hinata. He also understood that Bai Ye had not lied to him before, and the basis for cooperation between the two sides was also established. Teacher, I didn't embarrass you just now, did I? Uchiha Sasuke walked quickly to Bai Ye. In this month, he felt that practicing with Bai Ye was more fulfilling than the past few years in the ninja school, and his strength improved a lot. The one who just fought with him was a genin, and he could easily solve the opponent, which also made Sasuke admire Bai Ye more and more in his heart. Not bad Sasuke, I was right about you, you are a very talented child. Bai Ye raised his hand and touched Sasuke's hair and said gently, he has always played the role of a strict teacher and a kind father in front of Sasuke, speaking of which, Sasuke did lack love in the early stage. His father didn't love him and his brother was too busy. On the contrary, Bai Ye, the teacher, cared about him and took care of him in all aspects, which made Sasuke more and more dependent on Bai Ye. Teacher, are we going to practice next? Don't worry, since you have become a genin today, relax. I also prepared a gift for Sasuke to celebrate your graduation. Really? The teacher prepared a gift for me. Sasuke suddenly thought that he seemed to have not received a gift for a long time. Of course, after all, Sasuke has become a genin. That I always feel that I am going further and further on the road of Orochimaru and Aizen. Thinking of this, Bai Ye took out a scroll from his arms and placed it in front of Sasuke, saying, "It contains some of my practice experience and some Uchiha ninjutsu." Sasuke is not suitable for practicing stronger moves now, and Bai Ye's practice experience is enough for him to chew for a long time. Let's go. The purpose of coming here has been achieved, and Bai Ye has no need to stay here any longer. He waved his hand, signaling Sasuke to follow him. He would need to discuss the action after dinner. Since he had decided to take action, he had to talk to the three elders. After all, he was not going to do it alone, although everyone seemed to agree with him now, he still needed to make them take action thoroughly, rather than just agreeing with him verbally. On the way back, Bai Ye looked behind him thoughtfully, and then stopped at a street with few people. It's almost time to come out, right? I've been following you for so long, that if he continued to follow, he would reach the Uchiha clan, and then he would be hypnotized and taken back by illusion. Behind him, there was a moment of silence. Sasuke turned his head and looked at a disguised position, and then said lightly, "Naruto, why are you following us?" That along the way, he had actually discovered Naruto's traces a long time ago, but seeing that Bai Ye didn't say anything, Sasuke pretended that nothing had happened. Seeing his disguise exposed, Naruto was not embarrassed at all. He directly removed the cloth covering himself and said shamelessly, "You are worthy of being Sasuke's teacher. You can actually see through my disguise. I recognize you, this guy, he really deserves a beating." Bai Ye complained in his heart, "What do you mean you recognize me? If you were fighting Kaguya, Bai Ye would be very happy, but your recognition at this time is useless. Hey! You are Sasuke's teacher, right? I have decided to worship you as my master today. You are so arrogant to worship me as your master." Bai Ye was secretly thinking, when can I worship like this? When Naruto said this, he was actually very nervous in his heart. He hesitated before, but he felt that Bai Ye did not reject him later, so he also wanted to give it a try. For some reason, after seeing Sasuke graduate early, Naruto couldn't hold back his eager heart, but he actually thought that he couldn't beat the genin before. What can he do? Sasuke is a good example. After becoming Bai Ye's apprentice, he improved so fast, and Naruto also wanted to graduate. "Why do you want to become my apprentice?" Bai Ye looked at Naruto with a smile, and it was obvious that he had an idea in his heart. The prince and the two pillars, a pair of partners who love and hate each other, seemed to be together again because of him. Was it because of him, or because of the bond between Ashura and Indra? "Because you are strong, I want to become stronger, and then become Hokage, so that everyone in the village will recognize me." Naruto clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. "I understand, but you got one point wrong. It's not that you will be recognized by others after becoming a Hokage, but you can only become a Hokage if you are recognized by everyone. But what?" Naruto asked hurriedly. Bai Ye's words just now gave him some insights, as if he had always thought it was wrong before. "But you are right that if you want to become a Hokage, you must first have great power. When others do not recognize you, you can use your fists to make them recognize you. If one punch does not work, use two punches. They will always recognize you." "Then teacher, what if the other party refuses to recognize you even if he dies?" Sasuke also feels that Bai Ye's theory is very novel, but there is a loophole. That is, if that person does not recognize you all the time, then does it not work? "Then let him die, Sasuke. Justice will prevail. Justice will prevail. But who is justice? Who is evil? Of course the winner is justice." Justice belongs to the winner, Sasuke murmured, and a gleam of light suddenly flashed in his eyes. It was as if a string was plucked by Bai Ye. I understand, teacher, I know what to do. Sasuke decided to learn more from Bai Ye in the future. Sure enough, the special charm of Bai Ye's speech is simply addictive. It seems that he must learn Bai Ye's pretending skills. Victory is justice. That. I don't understand. Naruto raised his hand, and a trace of confusion flashed across his face. Bai Ye talked for a long time, but he didn't understand. Come to me when you understand. That's it for today, Naruto, you have to go back. Oh, okay. After Bai Ye finished speaking, Naruto nodded and turned away subconsciously, looking at Naruto's back. Sasuke also had a trace of confusion in his eyes. Why was Naruto so easily persuaded today? Hokage, Uchiha Bai just contacted Naruto. In the Hokage's office, the news that Bai had just contacted Naruto was quickly sent over. There were several Umbu watching Naruto. They were ready to take action when Naruto followed Bai, but before they took action, Bai called Naruto out in advance. Although they wanted to stop him, they saw that both sides had been keeping a safe distance, so they did not alarm the enemy. What did the two do when they contacted? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked subconsciously, and then the Umbu told Sarutobi Hiruzen the conversation between the two word by word. After listening to the Umbu's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned, and then waved his hand to let the Umbu leave first. Sarutobi, I told you, that Uchiha is a born evil kid. Now he has started to instill this evil thought into Naruto, and he has openly violated the ban. The entire Uchiha is not allowed to contact the Jinchuriki. Danzo couldn't sit still at this time. Uchiha Bai began to contact Naruto and instilled this thought into Naruto: if there is any accident after that, or the Nine Tails is controlled by the Uchiha clan, then they will completely lose their last trump card. Victory is justice. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought about what Bai said before, and suddenly he had a thought of destroying the Uchiha clan. Yes. The winner is justice. As long as he wins in the end, he can say whatever he wants later, and all his worries before will no longer exist. He can say that the Uchiha clan is in rebellion. In order to avoid causing greater losses, they can only bear the pain and kill the Uchiha clan. Anyway, as long as he wins, then whatever he says is right. And the Uchiha clan has already started to contact Naruto. This is something he absolutely cannot allow. Bai Ye's rebellious words just now, coupled with his current behavior, made Sarutobi Hiruzen understand that if he did not take action at this time, he would probably be passive. Sarutobi, what are you still hesitating about? Vitamin Yen looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and seeing that the other party was slow to speak, he was also a little anxious. Recently, the Uchiha clan has been getting better and better, and all their previous oppression has turned into nothing at this moment, and now that the Uchiha clan has started to contact the Nine Tails again, plus the choice Bai Ye gave before. Either go to war, or Sarutobi Hiruzen abdicates, and then the Uchiha takes the throne. What a joke. Vitamin Yen and Uchiha Koharu will never allow this to happen. If the Uchiha really takes the throne, they will be liquidated, right? So they must go to war. What Bai Ye said just now is right. The winner is justice. As long as we win, we are the winners. Sarutobi, get ready. Uchiha Koharu also reminded him when he saw this. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen was completely shaken. He didn't want to abdicate. Even if he had to abdicate, he didn't want to be forced down from the position of Hokage by Uchiha in such a cowardly way. It seems that Uchiha is really going to rebel, and even the Nine Tails has begun to contact. Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his head and then glanced at Danzo. Danzo nodded obscurely, then stood up and said, "Let me do this." As he said that, he stood up and prepared to leave to summon someone, and there would be another opportunity to use him. Itachi half knelt on the ground, lowered his head and listened to Danzo's current actions of the Uchiha clan. He listened to the whole article, but only heard 2 points. Uchiha contacted the Nine Tails Jinchuriki and prepared to rebel, and Konoha was also ready to take action against the Uchiha clan, and Konoha would kill the entire Uchiha clan at that time. after hearing that all the Uchiha clan members were killed, Itachi's heart twitched and Sasuke came to his mind. He could not care about anyone, but he could not care about Sasuke. So I can give you a condition, you kill the Uchiha clan, and then I let Sarutobi keep your brother Sasuke, how about that? I can't do it, my personal strength alone is not enough to do it. Itachi said coldly, he couldn't do it, Shisui could kill him, not to mention that there are many elite ninjas with 3 Magatama in the clan. I will let the root cooperate with you. After Danzo finished speaking, seeing Itachi still silent, he felt a little unhappy. I understand, but I can only hold Shisui back. You may need to do the rest yourself. All Itachi could do was hold Shisui back, and the others simply couldn't do it themselves. Logically speaking, Shisui only has a pair of kaleidoscopes, and they should not be Konoha's opponents by then. Byakuya, you have led the Uchiha clan into the abyss. Itachi lowered his head, his heart full of sadness. The Uchiha clan was about to be wiped out in Byakuya's hands. Why should a pair of kaleidoscopes be the enemy of Konoha? He also knew what the fate of Uchiha would be next. In the torrent of this era, it seemed that nothing could stop him. At first, Shisui was with him, but after Shisui decided to join Byakuya, Itachi was also very disappointed. He didn't expect that his best friend had also fallen, so he could only keep his younger brother. I understand. I will inform you to prepare for action when the time comes. Just continue to provide information about the Uchiha clan during this period. With that said, Danzo said no more, waved his hand to let Itachi leave first, and looked in the direction of Uchiha. At this moment, Danzo's desire for the Sharingan also arose in his heart. Soon, these eyes will all belong to him. Brother, you seem to be very distressed. Who? Itachi raised his head and looked around, and behind him, a vortex appeared. Master Obito looked at Itachi, and couldn't help feeling a little emotional in his heart. Without a kaleidoscope, it doesn't seem to be a good cooperation target, but this time Konoha's operation destroyed the Uchiha, and after killing all the clan members with his own hands, he should be able to awaken the Mangekyō, right? Who makes the Akatsuki organization currently lack members? Obito could only come to Konoha to look for it, and in his opinion, Itachi had the talent to awaken the kaleidoscope. Who are you? My name is Uchiha Madara. Obito said in a deep voice, then raised his face, and a scarlet kaleidoscope appeared in front of Itachi under the mask, a kaleidoscope like Shisui. And the weird space ability. It seems that your strength is not enough to destroy the Uchiha clan. How about working together to destroy this clan that has been immersed in one clan? Although Obito is not too obsessed with destroying Uchiha, but since there is an opportunity now, let's simply destroy this family that can create miracles. He also didn't want a pair of kaleidoscopes that could hinder his plans to appear in the future. At the same time, he must also kill Shisui and then recover Shisui's kaleidoscope. This is his main purpose. Chapter 70. Who can tell me where the Uchiha got 3 pairs of Mangekyō? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 70. Who the hell can tell me, where did Uchiha get the 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes? Itachi, what's wrong with you? Fine. After meeting the masked man, Uchiha Itachi became more determined in the path he had taken before. Although the entire Uchiha clan will be buried with him, this is all the result of Byakuya. Now it is not only Konoha who wants to take action, but also external forces. Everything that Guy said is the Uchiha he does not understand. Bo's secrets, coupled with those weird abilities, and what he said about creating the Nine-Tails Rebellion, he is a person who has experienced the Nine-Tails Rebellion. With such a powerful eye power, he can control the Nine-Tails. Only the legendary Uchiha Madara can do it, right? In this regard, he is also more pessimistic. Returning to the clan, Itachi raised his head and looked at Quan from Quan's concern, and asked, how is Quan doing lately? It seems that they haven't seen each other or communicated with each other for a long time, right? A fleeting look of disappointment flashed across Itachi's face. It seemed to him that this road was destined to be lonely. It's very good. I have been working with the clan leader to generate income for Uchiha recently. Now everyone's life is much better than before, Quan said. a hint of admiration flashed across her face. She was actually very grateful to Bai Ye, and at the same time, she understood Bai Ye better because of this incident. When Byakuya first came to power, she only heard that Byakuya was a radical. Because of her interactions with Itachi, she naturally thought that this might make the Uchiha clan worse, but he didn't expect that after Bai Ye came to power, he not only took back the territory that originally belonged to them, but also gave the clan an additional source of income. This gave Izumi, who originally didn't really want to become a ninja, something else to do. At the beginning, the Uchiha clan basically had few other things to do besides being ninjas. This also resulted in that if you did not become a ninja, or if you did not have a ninja in your family, you would live a very poor life, and Izumi has always wanted to be a good wife and mother rather than a ninja. Therefore, the appearance of Byakuya united Uchiha in a larger sense and gave some Uchiha a chance to survive. Not everyone wants to become a ninja, and not everyone has the talent to become a ninja. Quan, haven't you noticed that the clan and the village have become increasingly tense recently? Itachi looked at Izumi in disbelief. He was the one who analyzed the situation with Izumi. Why has she changed now? Itachi, actually this is not something we should think about. You always think too much, and even if you are getting nervous now, aren't everyone in the clan actually living a better life? Itachi. Bai clan leader actually has a saying. I think you are right. If a family gave birth to you and raised you, and when you grow up, you have to ask other people to help deal with your own family, is this also a kind of? Quan hesitated, glanced at Itachi, and then felt bad about continuing. She was actually thinking at the beginning, maybe the clan should do what Itachi said, but they did what Itachi said and lost their original clan territory. The Uchiha clan's business was getting worse and worse, and they had to rely on themselves. Become a ninja to support your family, they got nothing, but their lives got worse and worse. After Byakuya came to power, no matter how tense the relationship with Konoha was, it did not make the people in the clan feel a little wronged. This is why they are all willing to support Bai Ye. As for Itachi's false thoughts, Izumi gradually understood that Itachi was not as perfect as he thought. And Bai Ye was right. How terrible would a person's heart be if he didn't even cherish his own family? Itachi didn't grow up being abused. Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Mikoto were already very good to him, and the clansmen respected him in the past, but he always wanted to help Konoha deal with the Uchiha clan. This also makes Quan a little bit unable to accept it. Does Konoha really have such great magic power? She doesn't want to lose her current life, at least her tribe members are living well. Quan, but these are only temporary. Itachi's rare change in expression had already been through Shisui's incident. Last time he went to see Uchiha Fugaku, but Fugaku also said a lot of words towards Byakuya. Can't they all see that the Uchiha clan has been led into the abyss by him? Itachi, even if it's temporary, at least everyone has it, instead of living in misery like before. And Itachi. I think we should leave it like this for the time being. I'm afraid that the Byakuya clan leader will misunderstand. Quan said apologetically, then turned and left. Now she is in charge of the financial issues of the Uchiha clan, which is a relatively sensitive position. Coupled with Itachi's current situation, she is also afraid that Byakuya will misunderstand her and leak the information. For this, she could only say sorry. At least now she believed that everything Bai Ye did was more worthy of trust than everything Itachi did. Looking at Quan's back, Itachi opened his mouth to say something, but in the end he swallowed all the words. It seems like another once close friend has left me. Itachi didn't know how he got back home, but after returning home and seeing Sasuke, the haze in his heart dissipated a lot at this moment. At least with Sasuke, that was enough. Others don't understand themselves, so it should be okay to believe in him. Sasuke, did you finish your exam today? Itachi asked gently, as if he hadn't spoken to Sasuke for a long time, and it seemed that he had indeed ignored him for too long. Onie-chan, I'm a genin now. After saying that, Sasuke spread his hands and placed them in front of Itachi, with a trace of expectation in his eyes, and asked, have you prepared a gift for me, Onie-chan? After coming back today, Bai Ye and his parents prepared gifts for him. He also hoped in his heart that his brother would give him a gift. After all, Itachi came back so early today, so he should have prepared a gift, right? Sorry Sasuke forgot today. can I give it to you tomorrow? Itachi's face was startled. He really hadn't prepared a gift. There were too many things going on recently, and he was approached by the masked man and Danzo on the way back today, which made him forget about this matter. Thinking about it now, he felt a little regretful, but he thought it would be okay to make another one tomorrow, right? After hearing Itachi's answer, Sasuke couldn't hide his disappointment. Is Onii-chan in the busy clan lately? But I heard that Hokage-sama has a lot of opinions on us recently. Why does Onii-chan continue to stay in ANBU? Why doesn't Onii-chan join our Uchiha guard? Where's the team? Sasuke asked curiously. He had actually heard too much about the gossip within the clan recently. I also asked Byakuya, and he knew that it turned out that the relationship between Uchiha and the village was not very good now. Sasuke, who told you this? Itachi's heart sank, and his tone became much fiercer. Realizing that his tone seemed to scare Sasuke, Itachi quickly said warmly, Sasuke, I will handle this matter, you don't have to worry about it. Is it a white knight? It seems like there are only white knights, I regret a little. Why didn't I stop Byakuya from accepting Sasuke as his disciple? If it hadn't happened, Sasuke wouldn't have asked such a thing, right? Onii-chan, actually the clan leader told me that since the winner is justice, we should protect the glory of the Uchiha clan. Speaking of Sasuke, he can definitely be regarded as a staunch Uchiha honor party. So this is why Byakuya's thoughts let Sasuke accept it so easily. Sasuke, you don't have to worry about this kind of thing. I'll give you a gift. Onii-chan is a little tired today, so he's going to rest first. Uchiha Itachi touched Sasuke's hair, raised his head, and a flash of pain flashed across his face. Then the three Magatama in his pupils began to spin crazily, and then a kaleidoscope appeared in Itachi's pupils. Shisui turned his back on the path they had taken, and his parents didn't understand. Izumi also believed that Byakuya was a more correct path than his own, and even Sasuke was talking about the clan now. He found that no one seemed to understand him now. In this case, we can only completely eliminate this clan. He wants to keep Sasuke. Sasuke is still young and may not know it clearly. When he grows up, he will definitely understand his good intentions. And now I have the ability to change all this. Kaleidoscope, he didn't expect it to be turned on at this time. If possible, Itachi hoped that he would never turn it on in his life. Now he just felt like he had been betrayed by the whole world. Bai Ye, do you really want to take action? Elder Setsuna, did you always get high with your mouth before? In the conference room, the elders of the three factions, Uchiha Jin, Uchiha Setsuna, and Uchiha Iron, plus the abdicated former clan leaders Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Shisui, Bai Ye gathered the 5 people together to discuss the plan. I just feel like this might be too rushed. A trace of embarrassment flashed across Uchiha's face for a moment. In fact, he had been mostly oral before. Although he kept talking about rebellion, he didn't take many substantive actions. Now that he heard what Bai Ye said, he was actually a little moved. But didn't this require a plan? We won't be too hasty. We have 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes. Win as you please. Huh? When did we have 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes? No. What the hell are you talking about? Uchiha Jin was numb. How come he didn't know they had 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes? However, when the 3 of them saw that the 3 opposites had turned on their kaleidoscopes at the same time, and they seemed to see more complex patterns in Bai Ye's eyes, and the pupils were even stronger, the 3 elders were still a little dizzy. What the hell? You all have kaleidoscopes. Are you still human? Are you still hiding this from us? I take back what I said before, we are conservatives, but our conservatives think that radicals are too conservative and should be more radical. You guys have a kaleidoscope, and you also have 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes. Just tell me. They have never fought such a rich battle. I should have told you that we were divided into radicals, conservatives, and centrists back then. They are the Uchiha faction. Actually, we centrists have always been on Uchiha's side. What the hell are you talking about? Just fight. Don't prepare. Uchiha's old face turned red with excitement. He now wished he could just carry Sarutobi Hiruzen's head to the streets of Konoha. Who the hell told me that the Uchiha clan has 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes? Then let me say something first. I have reached a cooperation with Hinata. In probably the next 2 days, I will take action against Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, Koharu, and Mito Kadoin. Then after this time, they will support me to become Hokage, but the interests of the other 4 families need to be distributed to the Hyuga clan as their benefits in helping us to block the other families, and they will also stand firmly on our side. But if they want to choose the Hokage next time, they need to support them. In addition, when it comes to fighting, you should give priority to protecting ordinary people in the clan. You don't need to intervene in the battle. This time we are not going to fight Konoha in an all-out war, but fighting those 4 people and their followers. Bai Ye had no so-called plan from the beginning, because the strength has been completely crushed. At least the eternal Mangekyō may not even be his opponent at this time, right? Okay, then what's there to be afraid of? Just fight. When will you start? I think it can be tonight. I apply for a duel with Shimura Danzo. That I have been annoyed with Shimura Danzo for a long time. Besides, even the Hyuga clan has been persuaded by Bai Ye, so what are we waiting for? Not today. Protect the people in the clan first, and don't leak this news. When we are ready, we will do it. I will not only get rid of them, but also tell them all the things they have done. I want to become Hokage, but I don't want to be a Hokage with an illegitimate origin. Although he can become Hokage by relying on his own force, Bai Ye doesn't want his process of becoming Hokage to be criticized, rebel and use powerful force to make everyone surrender. So, what he actually wants to do is to make Sarutobi Hiruzen lose his reputation. As long as their reputation plummets, then everything he does is just. In the eyes of others, he just overthrew a foolish Kage. That's right, it's the cheapest thing for them to let them die so easily. Then let's do as you say, Bai Ye, let's make arrangements. Listening to Bai Ye's words, several elders also thought he was right. They had to ensure that the Uchiha clan would not die too many people because of this rebellion. That's why Bai Ye asked them to prepare first. Speaking of which, it seems that they are not rebelling, but the army of justice. I always feel like we are doing something extraordinary. Fugaku sighed. He would not dare to think about this a few months ago. Uchiha can actually become Hokage, so this time it should be successful, right? Inside the clan, as the arrangements were made, many things were completed in an orderly manner, and Itachi finally reached an agreement with Danzo and Obito to eliminate Uchiha in exchange for his brother's life. The murderous atmosphere of Konoha seemed to be felt even by the civilians.